I might have actually made it. And we're live here with Real News. And we're back post Biden inauguration. It is now official, unless you believe the Q stuff, that Biden is the president of the United States now. He's been sworn in with a massive crowd at the Capitol building there of, 100 people, maybe 200 that were there, and some little flags. But unless you believe the Q, and if you do believe the Q conspiracies, Trump is still your president. He's just been face swapped. Like it's not Nick Cage anymore. It's actually John Travolta, and he's still there. The plan. This is all part of the plan, and it's still Trump pulling the strings. He's undoing all of his executive orders because that's part of the plan. So, did you guys watch the Trump inauguration?
No.
Really?
No.
Really? Guess what? If you looked at all the ratings, they're dramatically down, and even approval rating polls show that when Obama was sworn on Inauguration Day, according to Rasmussen, not the Rasmussen we all know is a different one that's apparently more accurate, Obama had, I think, like a 67% approval rating. Trump had about, I think, 57%. Biden, 48%. But he's the most popular president ever. And if you look at the pictures, I'll pull one of it up, of his inauguration crowd size. I think we should touch on this a little bit because it shows the double standard we have here. That's very apparent. I know it's not a hot take, but his crowd was non-existent. There was no crowd. And of course, everybody's going to say, oh, it's because of COVID. Oh, it was a work day. No. They knew there wasn't going to be a crowd. They could have socially distanced. They could have put masks on. But if you see the images, there's like nobody there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you did, not only that, like even if you made excuses for that shit too, the TV viewership was down. Like
exactly
the viewership online, the TV viewership, all of that shit was down, like by millions.
And it should be theoretically up because everybody's at home, right? You can turn the TV on easily.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was so bad. So, yeah, you're just a conspiracy theorist if you don't accept the results.
And they had Lady Gaga, they had Jennifer Lopez, they had all these. It was very star. It was star-studded ish, I guess.
Elitist.
And they still couldn't pull it off. This is this is why this is why a large chunk of the country sees these people as fake. I mean, they just see this whole thing as fake. They see the news as fake. They see the election as fake. They see everything. It's just like everything is fucking fake. Like I don't like nobody's gonna see these people. Nobody's gonna see these people. Like nobody gives a fuck about Jennifer Lopez. Nobody gives a fuck about Lady Gaga. Like,
when was the last time that Lady Gaga was fucking relevant? When was the last time that Lady Gaga was relevant? It's been a while.
15 years. Born This
I
Way.
heard Simpsons once, and that was probably the last I heard of her.
When was the last time you heard of her?
I want to say 2012, maybe something like that.
Man, she's just coming up from the grave, just like Biden, you know.
And
he was relevant in 2012, you know, and so was she. So it's like, what else was relevant in 2012? Like Chocolate Rain. I'm surprised that kid didn't come out over there. Like,
yeah.
Some stupid.
Well, did you see that one where there was the? I'm trying to find a better picture because I know where it's at. Did you see?
They should have brought Cooney over there. That Cooney 2012 or whatever. That was relevant.
Look. Let put this. More people. So Trump had a New Year's party, right? Trump had a party on like New Year's or something like that at Mar-a-Lago. He had some old school. He had some old school 80s like artists that showed up to it. I think it was like Taylor Dane was one of them. There's a couple of. One of them was Vanilla Ice, right? old school fucking Vanilla Ice, right? More people were interested in fucking Vanilla Ice at Mar-a-Lago than they were in Lady Gaga with this fucking inauguration.
Bruh. That's bad. I don't know,
Yeah.
look, no shade on Vanilla Ice or anything, but I'm just saying for Lady Gaga,
Yeah.
that's bad.
It was awful. I mean, just and she like campaigned for Biden, and it was just so terrible to watch. That was so terrible to watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm like how? And no, and don't get me wrong. Look, I will say, look, I will admit, she had a really good halftime show when they had the Super Bowl in Houston. That was a really good halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, right? But yeah, well, it wasn't good. I don't know.
Well, and I love how remember the New York Times, the day after the inauguration had the side by side, and they used the phony picture from before everybody was there, going, "Oh, this is Trump's crowd versus Obama's. There's hardly anybody here," and I think I have that paper actually in my collection. But I have the picture pulled up of Trump's, and look, Obama had a massive crowd. Like, it's DC, it's hyper leftist. But Trump had a really big crowd considering he's
and the viewership.
Yeah,
and what about the viewership? Holy God! Like Trump gets people watch Trump. People watch Trump on television. They watch him on YouTube. They watch him like he's just he's probably one of the most watched people. Like I can't imagine. Like how do they like? There's a reason why these social media companies started tanking after Trump was gone, like after they removed Trump.
Yeah.
There's a reason. So fucking popular, right? So
I mean, Twitter feels dead now without him. It's like nobody to complain about his tweets now. And I mean,
their new thing.
What they do now
with the kitty stuff? What's been going on with that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've been following that. I know Facebook has a lot of inappropriate child content on it.
No. I know Twitter's been kicking Antifa off of their fucking platform now.
So what happened was there was this kid who was he had some inappropriate pictures of him extorted from him from a pedophile.
By the way, didn't Black Lives Matter say something like some tweet along the lines of like they felt like the Democratic Party has betrayed us?
That's a fake tweet, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay. But what I'm saying with that Twitter, for those who haven't been listening to that, so they had a kid who was getting sexually extorted, by a pedophile on Twitter, and then Twitter, like the kid's parents found it, reported it to Twitter. Twitter refused to take it down until they had to get, like, they said, hey, this is inappropriate. Twitter said, oh yeah, we reviewed it. We did not find any inappropriate material.
What?
According to the lawsuit. So then they had, like, the parents had to go and, like, call up, I think it was some government agency, it was like the FBI or something, and then they had to go to Twitter to get them to take down the child content from Twitter. They'll go and take down Donald Trump, no problem. They'll take down 70,000 pro-Trump, pro-Republican accounts at the flick of a hat. But when there's kids getting exploited on their platform, they drag their feet and wait to get a court order to remove the content. Like, how screwed up is that? Like, Jack Dorsey, you're a pedophile. You're a pedophile enabler. I see, I can see why you probably keep that stuff on there. I don't, it's one thing. You have the power to do it. You obviously do, so you knowingly don't do it. If you can take down 70,000 pro-Republican accounts at the flick of a fucking hat, and you choose not to go and do it for the massive amount of pedophiles and maps, like there's still map accounts out on Twitter, pro-pedophile map accounts, and they said, oh, we don't, they said they changed their policy, and they drug their feet with that too. I think that they are pro-pedophile. I think
that's why Jack Dorsey has a beard.
Yeah,
he's pretending like those little kids have bushes.
Oh,
anyway,
like that's Twitter for you. That's big tech. That's those are the people that support Joseph Biden. And I wonder, like, this Pizzagate shit. The more I see of that shit, I don't know.
Well, there's a reason why those things caught on. Even the Q people, there's like a grain of truth to it. As much as it's mostly BS, the Q stuff, there's a grain of truth to it.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing of that Pizzagate. Was there a pedophile sex dungeon underneath the basement of Comet Ping Pong? No. Is there probably some elitist sex activity going on? Like, we know with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that this is going on, and he's probably only one piece of the puzzle. I bet there's other ones out there that we don't even know of yet. We had the fucking Nickelodeon guy. Who was that? Who's the foot guy?
I know who you're thinking of. I forget his.
Like, I think it was like Schneider or something. Was it
Dan Schneider?
Dan Schneider, yeah, like they had that, and he has not been convicted of anything yet. There is no legal investigation. They just didn't renew their contract with him or whatever. And there's been a lot of evidence saying that he's probably the fucking Nickelodeon version of Harvey Weinstein over here. We had him too. Like, he was a big part of that pedophilia gang going on in Hollywood. And I'm telling you, I think that big tech enables this. I think that they might, I don't know, maybe they save that content. Maybe they're pedophiles themselves. I don't know. The fact that they don't take action when they have the capacity to shows that they're at least, they're complicit to a degree to this content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. Like, when you go on Twitter, it's been like this for years. You can find videos of crimes, like brutal crimes being committed. You can find videos of assassinations, brutal graphic assassinations. That's all fine. That's still on there. Pornography's on there, which, to be fair, technically is it technically is a form of free expression, but Jack, you don't believe in free expression. So, which is it? Do you believe in free expression that is defined by the Constitution and U.S. law, or do you not? And he clearly doesn't if he's removing people he doesn't like for political reasons, and it's been admitted, it's on video, and we know that these companies are biased. So it's so ridiculous. When you see the pedophile stuff, I mean, like, I remember Pizzagate, I remember it very well, and there was a lot of stuff in that was true or had grains of truth to it, and there was a lot of stuff that was totally false. But there was the Jeffrey Epstein stuff in that. People learned about Jeffrey Epstein, his island, and his private jet through Pizzagate. A lot of people did. And it makes you wonder about the other things in there. Like, the Comet Ping Pong place is, as much as I agree with what you said, like, there was still some weird stuff with that. Like, the pictures on their Instagrams of, like, the kids being taped to the ping pong boards, like...
I don't know, like...
I'm not saying it means anything, but it's weird. Like, there are just so many weird things.
It's probably made by these, like, artists that are funded by these leftist institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they met over there, but I don't think they met in the basement and, like, raped children in the basement. I don't think that happened. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been there myself. I have no idea what's going on. What sort of stuff happened over there. I know, going in there and blowing holes in the basement probably, that didn't really help anything. That didn't expose the pedophile ring. But there was probably stuff going on, in that area, like in DC especially. Like, people, they went and saw these, the DC protesters, and they were like, "Oh, this is sacred ground." I don't know, man. Like, there probably was, like, some very disturbing stuff going on the Senate floor in these people's offices. Like, I mean, we know what happened with Bill Clinton. We know right what happened there, and it's probably more stuff that Bill Clinton did and that other presidents did that we don't know about. I think it's all throughout that city. I think that is, the modern day Sodom is probably fucking DC. And then, like, Gomorrah would be like San Francisco.
Yeah, it's just weird. That's one of the things I forgot to do when I was down there was visit Comic Ping Pong. I wanted to actually see it myself, see the infamous Comic Ping Pong, but it's very just like these elitists. I mean, we could go down a lot of rabbit holes with this, but there just seems to be a weird thing with people in power and doing these disgusting things. Power and pedophilia seem to go hand in hand. And I think it is a power thing. I think it's a dominance thing. I think these people are sociopaths, so they get into weird things like this. And I mean, look who's in the White House now. Joe Biden sniffing girls' hairs, underage girls' hairs. I mean, wonder what we're going to hear coming out of this White House.
No, I mean, we're probably not going to hear anything because the media's going to be full, like, they're going to be sucking his cock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe literally.
Well, maybe I don't know. There could be a coup from the left to go and, like, get Kamala in there. Camel toe Kamala.
I've always thought that, because that's what people are talking about, is how long is he going to last? That's where we're all placing our bets on now. I think he's going to make it till the end of the first term. And then I think he's going to be like, I did my time. I'm old. I'll see you guys later. And then have somebody else run 24. That's what I think is going to happen. There's a chance it doesn't. But I think Kamala's, they like keeping her behind the scenes, keeping her pulling the strings quietly so it doesn't ruffle too many feathers and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think she'd do too well in general.
No, she's grossly unpopular.
Yeah, especially, like that's running for president.
Yeah, especially if Trump were to run again. Yeah, I think he'd I think he'd wipe his ass with Kamala. Like it would not be good, because and the world would like. Yeah, I just. I mean, of course, there would be massive cheating and all that shit too. But like, I think this next presidential election, I think it might. The more I think about it now, I think it might be doable for Republicans. I think it might be doable for Republicans, because I think every state is gonna every state is gonna have its eye on these same states that were like notorious for the dirty play, like the Michigan, the Pennsylvania, all that stuff. I think a whole lot of people are gonna be looking at these states going, yeah.
Well, that's where I
fly right.
That's why I've always been optimistic as well. I think they can get away with stealing a few more elections. I don't know at what level. I feel like they can get away with a few more. But after the backlash that we saw for 2020, I mean, all eyes are going to be on everything. So I think it will, in some ways, make it harder for them to do it. I'm not saying they won't or can't, but I think more in-person stuff that will be harder to do. And so any sort of stealing they would have to do would be through the machines electronically without you seeing, and it would be more egregious. So that's why I think it's, I'm not a pessimist on this at all, but I will say what I am a little, not necessarily pessimistic on, but worried on is, let's say, because I know we disagree on if Trump will run again, I think he's still looking at a lot of options. Oh, interestingly, did you see a one tweet I posted from DC Drano? He had an interesting idea. Not saying it will happen or if it'll work, but he said Trump should run for a congressional seat in Florida because they're redistricting it. They're going to be new districts. He should run for a congressional seat, get into Congress, become the Speaker of the House in 22, and then run for president in 24. That'd be epic. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that'd be amazing. Like, you want to talk about some 5D chess? Like, that's how you really stick it to him. But I don't know if that'll happen. But one thing we need to seriously start looking for is, because he is the leader of this movement, the America First MAGA movement. Who else do we have? Who else can be a candidate? Why is, like, nobody seems to be looking for that. I know there probably are people behind the scenes, but who else is there?
I think we need like 15 round like slugfest,
Well, I think this is where you take the time and you start looking for these people, right? Who's legit? Because you can't trust. You can't like here. I think I think Donald Trump has more control now over who runs, who he's going to support, who he's going to like. I think he has that. He has more control now than he did when he was in it, because let's be real, he had a ton of backstabbing establishment cucks run it in his cabinet, around him, all that. Like he really, he wasn't able to do as much. Like now he's going to be able to put his he's going to be able to look around, see what's out there, any potential up and comers, or originalists, whatever. I think this is going to be the time where he starts like taking notes and scouting the scene, stuff like that.
And I think that's definitely what he will do. He said he's going to be doing something. I think he's going to join Telegram soon, because Don Jr. just joined there, took over the handle that was already made for him. So moves are being made already, but I think he's a. This is the thing I think people forget. Like when they always say like somebody gets into power and they disappoint, or they start doing X, Y, and Z, and that may be the system gangs them, maybe a lot of things, but ultimately it's the fact that the president does not have any power. Like, I'm sorry. It's not the phrase, it's the most powerful man in the world, the president or woman, is, I think, one of the most misleading phrases. Makes no sense.
I think a second term of Donald Trump is probably the most terrifying for Democrats.
Of course.
Because I think it's like he could go in there, like, because really, let's be real, like Trump really, and this was part of the part of one of the mistakes that maybe Trump might have made, but I don't really blame him for it, because he didn't know who to put in, like, in the positions of power, because like he's not a politician. Like he just wasn't a politician. So he ended up putting in a lot of those fucking swamp cronies that he didn't really know that I don't think he really knew that they were going to be swamp cronies like they were. And then but I think that if he runs again and were to pull it off, then he could start really picking who he wants, and that would be terrifying. Like that would probably be terrifying for Democrats.
Now he knows who his real friends are.
Exactly. Exactly. He knows the game. He knows the game. He knows the people around him. He knows who to put in. Right. He could really make some. He could really make some damage. Should decide to run again. I don't know. But and I mean, okay. So there's like there's an impeachment, which is a fucking charade. They're not gonna be able to charge him because you need 2/3 votes. They're not gonna have 2/3. They're not gonna have 2/3 of the freaking Congress to convict a man. Not only that, even if they like, so for the impeachment charges, it's supposed to be presided by the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Roberts already said he's probably not going to do it. Right? He's probably not going to preside over it. So that would mean the alternative would be Kamala Harris.
Oh God.
Because she's the vice president. Which would be a gross conflict of interest. Because, like, look, you're going up what looks like to be your future political opponent, right? That's a serious conflict of interest. But not only that, let's just say there were the votes, right? Let's just say there were the votes to, like, charge him with the whole impeachment thing. He could probably legally challenge that shit, like, Should he, if they were going to disqualify, like say they were like, oh, we're charging you, you're no longer going to ever be allowed to hold political office again. He could probably run for political office again and challenge it via courts, because you impeached essentially a civilian, right? You constitutionally, you can't impeach a fucking civilian, right? So, I mean, nothing. There's no way you could look at this that it pans out at all for the Democrats. It's just not like no they're not gonna be able to convict Donald Trump. It's not gonna happen.
No, and also because a bunch of Republicans, there's enough of them that know if they do so, they'll be out. They will be gone. And
they will vote at their own peril, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're doing this because they don't want him to run again. That's always been the intention from the very beginning. They even said it openly. And I think, I don't know, I think he's still thinking about running in 24, but let's say he doesn't. I think there's only 2, 3, 4 people that are so far solid. Not saying not all of them are ready to run yet, but I think the 4 people we have that I can think of, they're extremely solid, that are the type we need, are Matt Gaetz, Ron DeSantis, Lauren Boebert, and Marjorie Greene. I think those 4 people are best.
I would be behind DeSantis, because he's done a fantastic job with Florida.
Yes.
Holy God, he has done a marvelous job with Florida. And I'm telling you, look, former governors tend to do really, really well. Not in a pretty fucking good. I don't want to say really well, because there's been a couple fuck ups, but like they tend to be pretty good. They tend to be pretty good presidents, like, because you have experience running shit.
Exactly.
Right. So
that's honestly, that was Trump's biggest strength and biggest weakness, was that he was an outsider with no political experience. DeSantis has the Trump policies, from what we can tell, and has that experience that could really help him be more effective theoretically. Still needs to be a lot of changes, because this is why I keep telling these people, they keep blaming Trump for like things that didn't happen. Things didn't happen because of 2 people mainly, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan. Those are the people that are the problem. Those are the people we need to get out. And in Congress, all these cucky Republicans, the 10 that vote for impeachment, get them out. All the ones that wouldn't vote for the RAISE Act, that wouldn't vote to build the wall, that wouldn't vote to clamp down tech censorship, get them out. Because these are the people that make the law. It does not get to the president's desk unless these people vote accordingly. And when they're tied up in these interests, when they're bought and paid for by big tech, when they are not MAGA America First Republicans, they're not going to vote for it. It doesn't, no matter what Trump does, they are not going to do it. And I mean, I always look at that Georgia call. If you think Trump didn't fight for us, if you think he didn't believe what he said, listen to that Georgia call, because say what you will about him, you can tell he believes the election was stolen, and he fought like hell to try and get things straightened out. And his own party would not cooperate with him. I think people need to listen to that call to hear that, because like, I mean, it's so bad. And so the easiest thing we can do, if you know MAGA America First candidates, promote them, tell your friends about it, go to the polls and hand out the little flyers so people vote for them, and tell them these are the people you want to vote for, not the establishment. You need to expose them. You need to share this info, because nobody's doing it. Fox isn't doing it. The mainstream media isn't doing it. You got to do it. And that's all it takes. I think we kind of failed in 18, because we didn't do that. We should have done that, and we didn't. We kind of failed Trump on that by not cleaning house, no pun intended, and getting good people in. And that's how we ended up where we are. But speaking of that, something came to mind. I can't remember it, but I do remember another story. But I do agree, DeSantis powerhouse right there. Like that guy, he's awesome. I think he needs more of a national appeal still.
What a job.
Yeah. Dude,
what a job in Florida. Holy Lord.
I know. We
always kept talking about how fucked up a state Florida was, and then he took over, and it's just like just fantastic. Just a fantastic job with really everything. With with the unemployment, the job growth, the COVID stuff, just everything. Getting rid of what was it, the Parkland sheriff or whatever. Like I'm like, look, I like it. I'm like, all right, I can get behind this.
And I know this is a very feelsy thing, but when I tend to look at these candidates, I kind of can get a feel just by looking at them. If I'm like, that guy I could see in the Oval Office. Trump, I look at him, I'm like, I could see that guy in the Oval Office. DeSantis is one of those guys. I can see him in the Oval Office. And his wife, not as good as looking as Melania, but up there.
Come on. No, that's Melania set the highest bar ever. No one is ever going to reach that bar again.
But she puts up some competition, which tells you it's a good sign. We're in good hands with DeSantis.
Yeah, like look, I mean, Melania. She's probably the greatest first lady ever.
Unparalleled.
There is no close second. Like it's Melania. I mean, she will absolutely go down as probably the greatest first lady ever.
Didn't DeSantis do that thing too, where there was some sort of like stand your ground law or some really pro-gun thing he did?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they already had a stand your ground law as proof of the George Zimmerman case.
But, that's true. But there was something else he pushed that was like really like, anti-mob stand your ground law. He was pushing. Yeah, freaking based. That's what we need.
Yep.
Oh my God. So I'd keep your eyes on him, but the one thing he needs to do. This is something his other Florida man pal does really well, Gates, is get that viral attention. Like, he's had a few little scuffles with the media where he's really good, DeSantis, but beyond that, not a lot more viral moments. He needs more of those viral moments, and that's when he can start getting the bigger name appeal, national attention. I mean, he's getting there, but once he's able to do that, he can win. He can be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for him. But I'll look in our news section because I know we have a lot of things that have been popping. Did you guys see what Kohl's and let's see, our store Bed Bath & Beyond did to the MyPillow guy?
Yeah, they cut him off.
Yep, they're not selling his stuff at all. All because
Bed Bath & Beyond, aren't they a failing company anyway? Fuck them.
I don't know. There's quite a few in my area. I've been to them.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're going through some sort of shit. Like, I'm not sure if it was like bankruptcy or something like that. Because I know there was a couple of them. I know the one in there was one near where we went to college. Went through some sort of liquidation type shit. Like, hold on.
Oh, also JCPenney's now dropping MyPillow, and Macy's says that they're out of stock.
Dude, JCPenney, are you kidding me? They're waiting to die. Nobody gives a fuck about JCPenney. They're waiting to die. Like,
I couldn't tell you the last time any of the stores you've mentioned, like Bed Bath & Beyond, I think when I was at Penn State, Kohl's, probably same, like, I don't even know, like probably 10 years ago. Like, these are all dead places. Like, fuck, I went to Sears more than I went to any of these places.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond. I haven't been to Sears in ages, but I've been to Kohl's quite a few times recently, and Bed Bath & Beyond a few times. But Bed Bath & Beyond, they closed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. They were closing over 200 stores, which is about 21% of their stores over the next 2 years.
Just gotta have people just start protesting in front of these places.
Yes. That's what you need. I mean, look, that's what I tell people. Look, don't buy from here. Don't go to Kohl's anymore. Don't go to Bed Bath Beyond. Just stop giving them your money. That's what I'm doing. Not gonna give them any more. If they're dropping the base pillow merchant, no. Not getting any more of my money.
Yeah, they're so Bed Bath and Beyond, they're expected to close about 60 stores around the United States in early 2020,
and
more
200.
More are expected.
Yeah, it says on Wikipedia they're going to close more than 200, about 21% over the next 2 years.
Yeah. So,
well, it's going to be a lot more soon.
I mean, look, like you're talking about already. Like, I mean, the companies that you mentioned are fucking dying companies. I don't give a fuck. And it's like, look, and not only that, it's like, look, they don't need you. They don't need my pillow does not need these companies. Like, there's
dude, he survived. He was a fucking 1-800 number.
Yeah, like he's got a website, a 1-800 number. He's got fucking like, yeah, there's plenty. Like you probably get them off of Amazon too. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, until they start taking them off of there. Like, I think more will fall, because remember the Confederate flag? Remember how once that shooting happened, all of a sudden, Walmart, Amazon, one after the next, couldn't buy the Confederate flag.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing's going to happen to him. Not saying it's going to end him, but it's going to put a dent in him. Like, realistically, it will.
Maybe.
But I think it's incredibly wrong. It's messed up what they're doing to him, and it's only going to get worse. Only going to get worse, and he's not going to be the only one this happens to. I mean, he's lucky that he's been around long enough that he's made plenty of money, but, you know. Kohl's is still pretty big, though. I mean, as of 2013, this obviously it's a while ago, but in 2013, they were the second largest U.S. department store company by retail sales. I think Kohl's is the only like noticeable one there. I mean, JCPenney's is a joke. Like, they're almost dead. I'm surprised they're not dead.
About to die. Yeah.
Remember when they like had this new chick take over and she like spiced it up and changed the logo and made it all hip and cool with purple and like all these new colors and ooh, it's crazy, and it did nothing, and it's just getting worse. Such a failure.
I mean, look, they're brick and mortar. They're a brick and mortar store in the age of Amazon. Like, they're like, nobody gives a shit. Like, I mean, except for old people. Like, old people are probably the only people that really give a shit anymore. And like, I don't know. Like, is that good or bad? It's probably a little bit of both. But that's the technological evolution.
Yeah.
Right. You're on the wrong end. Bed Bath and Beyond is on the wrong end of that shit. Like, I mean, most of the stuff you can buy, like most of the stuff that like the high end, the low end, the high end, all that stuff can be bought on Amazon or some other online retailer, right? Like they don't need like, it's actually kind of a hindrance, because it's actually kind of a hindrance to go to these fucking to have deals with these brick and mortar companies, just because like there's a contract where I have to supply these people with X amount of this product that's going to end up fucking going on some sort of liquidation sale like years later. Like, there's like, at least I don't know. I don't care. Like, I just, like, when you say Bed Bath and Beyond, you say JC Penny, and even Kohl's, even if Kohl's is like marginal, like I'm not like, I'm like, I don't care. I just don't care. And like, I don't know.
There is another one though. I just saw Wayfair's also dropping him. Yeah. And that's a big one.
I've not been to fucking Wayfair. You know what Wayfair is?
They sell furniture. I mean,
they sell furniture, but like,
they're pretty big. But again,
though. I mean, but I don't know. Like, I see My Pillow. I see My Pillows on sale literally everywhere. I saw them at a fucking Wise Markets, right? Okay, like
selling them at the gun stores.
Yes.
Yeah, like you think you're the only play in town. Nice try,
Well,
asshole.
what I'm saying is like, yeah, I mean, is this gonna kill his business? No. But this is only the start. What's the end gonna be? Is he gonna are you and this is what I think is personally gonna happen. I think more stores are gonna pull it, and I think you're gonna start seeing channels say we're not gonna air his ads. And yeah, can he circumvent these things? Kind of, but like, I mean, objectively, he's not putting more ads out. He's not reaching as many people as he used to. And Facebook and Twitter might ban him. They might shadow ban him. I mean, it can be an endless cycle, and I think it's something that conservatives need to pay attention to, because this is going to be the future where you can't sell your products anywhere. You're going to get banned from everything. Your TV ad, you can't run anything, can't do that. You're just going to be told you can't do it because you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a domestic terrorist. They're going to pull every little thing on him. And can he still make money? Of course, there's going to be audiences, but he's going to be taking hits. And I think he knows that, but he's a bold man. I mean, I got to give him credit. He doesn't give a shit in the best way possible. He's just like, I'm going to say what I think. They can do it.
Mike Lindell should run for president.
They've said that he's considered or is floating the idea of running for, I think, the governor or senator in Minnesota, where he's from. I could see him doing it. He's talented, very good salesman. He's got that folksy image. People know who he is. He could do it. And he's got have you know his story, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
incredible story.
He's the second president who smoked crack.
No.
Yeah, you can fit right in. And honestly, his story, though, it's like they're taking down an American success story. This is a guy that had a crack cocaine addiction, very sad, bad, hit rock bottom, came out of it, found Jesus again, and sold pillows. Like, I mean, what can get more American than this guy?
Bailed out fucking patriots.
What was that? You got all gargly.
Sold pillows and bailed out patriots.
Yes. Yeah, see, like the Rittenhouse thing, dude. Nobody else did it but him. I'm telling you, the guy's awesome. I should just buy my pill just because why not? Have you ever used one?
Yeah.
How would you rate them?
I
like
for you, but I don't know. Like it's a weird pillow. It's not like normal pillows, and in some ways, like I don't know. I like a firm pillow, and his.
It's a little too cushiony.
I have a goose down pillow.
How's that one?
I have a fucking great. I'd spend a shit ton on it, but yeah, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got them. I got nice. Yeah, dude, I invest fairly heavily in my bed. Fairly heavily.
I don't blame you.
I have thousands on a freaking mattress, thousands on or hundreds on sheets.
Dude, fucking mattresses, man, that's a scam industry if there ever was.
Yeah. No. Yes. And no, but I will spend the money, but I will also you guys know me. I do my research thoroughly. And if there's a chance that I could lay on the fucking mattresses, I'll fucking do them too. I'll do it too. I don't fuck around. If I lay on it and it feels right, I'm getting it.
You take your mattress shopping seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame you because
it's important.
Yeah.
It's important. It's
keep that back straight.
Yeah, you got at least a quarter of your life is gonna be spent on that fucking thing. You got legit invest the money, because it fucks with if you sleep wrong, it totally fucks your day up.
Yeah, I mean, I sleep with 3 pillows. because that's what I've been recommended by my chiropractor and physical therapist, is that, you know, for my situations, my back's still technically healing from when I had an oopsie. I have one in between my legs, like a thin one, so my legs aren't touching and pulling the back a bit. And I have one obviously under my head, because if your head's down, that's pulling on your back. If your head's too high up, it's pulling on it. And I have one between my arms so that I'm not scrunching, which is not good for your back either. You're supposed to keep it flat. So you want a pro sleeping set, you gotta do it like that. Do you have any of that what's it called, memory foam in your mattress?
So I have I have a pillow. I have a pillow top. No, I'm all comfort, man. I'm like, I got a pillow top Posturepedic mattress. I have goose down mattress pad, comforter, and pillows. And then I have like some of the most comfortable sheets you'll ever get. Like they're fucking amazing. It's sleeping in it is fucking glorious. Like it's just like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, speaking of that too, remind me that the My Pillow guy, he doesn't just sell pillows. I think people forget that he sells like freaking sheets, a whole bunch of shit now. Like, definition, diversify, mattress toppers. I'm on his site right now. Like, mattress toppers, blankets, towels, dog beds, roll and go anywhere pillows, other products. Mike's book. His book's only $10. That's cheap. Yeah, I mean, he's got a shit ton of stuff. But if anybody hasn't heard the story, gotta look into it. It's really cool. And very, very, he's very American. Like, it's stuff I love. And I could see him running for office one day, so we'll keep an eye on him for that. And let's check the news section again, because there's some other shit that we were looking at. Oh, yeah, Biden, his executive orders in day one of office. There's been some there's already a scandal. Let's be real, there's already been a scandal. Number one, he stopped Keystone Pipeline, cut that shit off. He rolled back the insulin price lowering executive order, got rid of that. And then, I know it's going to piss you off, Phil, and I don't know who makes these orders, maybe you might know more about this, the ridiculous thousands of National Guards turning DC into a police state or militarized zone. Half of them got sent home, but the half that were there were told the other night to sleep in a parking deck in freezing cold weather, literally freezing cold, like below 32.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the military's tough. They can handle that. Yeah, I get it. But what are they doing? Like,
yeah. So I don't blame for that particular one. I'm not sure I blame Biden for that one.
I don't either.
I don't blame Biden. I don't blame Trump for that one. If I blame anybody, it's probably the DC mayor, because she's the one that requested these troops. She's the one that requested these troops, and so she should like they're there, so they're in her purview. Like, that's her shit, right? So it should be her job to take care of these fucking troops. And so when they're having to fucking sleep in these damn fucking garages, like, yeah, that's on her. That's on the it's on the, I'm sure military leadership is fucking up too. I'm sure, you got people in the Capitol, like whoever's running the Capitol Police, Capitol Authority, whatever. Sure, they're fucked up too. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of bad shit.
Yeah. I will say, though, I bet if we still had President Trump and this was starting to happen, he would have called up that mayor and been like, cut this shit out right now.
Did you see what Trump was doing now? He was offering to let the National Guard stay at his hotel for free.
That fucking really nice hotel.
Yes.
Dude. Holy shit, man.
Dude, I'd sign up for the National Guard if he was still offering that, dude. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I remember it so well.
Well, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And why the fuck are they still out here? And I have some sources, and they're telling me that some people are expected to stay there till the 31st at the earliest.
I have an article that says that thousands are gonna remain there through March. That's 2 months. 2 months. What are the cute people just gonna rise up again? Is a storm coming in March?
They're saying, we're anticipating because of the impeachment or whatever. I'm like, dude, nobody's gonna fight because they all know that this whole thing is a fucking political theater. Nobody's buying this shit. Okay.
Imagine joining the National Guard thinking that you're gonna be helping your state, helping your country, and then being sent to go and sit around DC and sleep on the fucking floor.
I'm sure. Look, hey,
your own citizens.
I'm sure Biden will start a war.
Yeah.
Like most other presidents do.
Oh, he'll put him back to work.
Yeah, he'll put him back to work. Don't you worry.
Well, have you noticed once he got in, all of a sudden, there's these suicide bombings in Pakistan. There's talks of this
hotbed shit going on in Syria and shit. Like, what the fuck?
ISIS, the word ISIS, you haven't heard that term in years, have you? It's being thrown around again. Very convenient. Very convenient. And I'm reading this article closer. It says a National Guard spokesman said 7,000 members will continue supporting federal law enforcement agencies in the city, drawing down to 5,000 by mid-March. Mid-March. The members were requested to assist with security, communications, medical evaluations, logistics, and safety, but the spokesman could not identify who made the request. Okay, sure. And
that's way too many fucking people.
Yeah,
that's way too many people to be down there.
It's insane. Like, DC's not big,
Oh. I mean, that's just so. It's a lot. Holy fuck, man!
And they had 20,000 at peak. 25,000.
Yeah.
Like. That's probably like I don't know.
That's a full. That was. I want to say that's all. That's about a full deployment. Like that's a full deployment rotation.
Jesus, what's the population of DC? Population of DC is 700,000, and they added 25,000 National Guard onto that 700,000. Like that's insane. Over nothing. Over what? A bunch.
Well, technically they're not part of the population, but
yeah I know, but it's what's weird too is not only is this happening, but it's not weird, I used the wrong words. It's typical that there was like minimal outrage from the left, and when they asked, I think what's the press secretary about this, because they asked about Biden. Because there's two stories to this tying in. They asked Biden about why he wasn't wearing a mask, and she's like, "Oh, there are bigger issues to worry about." It's like, really? Now there are. When Trump didn't wear a mask, it was like the end of the world. But they also were asking about it's slipping my mind. I was trying to tie these two. Oh yeah, the National Guard, because of this, got COVID, and there's a COVID outbreak. I mean, that's bad.
Oh yeah,
but that's hilarious.
Doubt. This whole political situation caused a fucking COVID outbreak. Oh, that's really fucking surprising. You have all these people bunched up together. How can you? They're not socially distant. They're in a city. And what about the fucking workers who have to go in there too? Is the government gonna be liable for if there's a COVID outbreak and infects workers?
Yeah.
They're treating the Guard like shit. Honestly, the states, I don't think they have to send the National Guard down there. I think that the federal government has to ask the states. I mean, from my knowledge, and then the states, they'll agree or disagree. Phil, you probably know more about this shit than I do. But I know.
Well, he grants the states the authority to do it, and then that's the states usually give the go, right? Because you gotta get because you have to have like a state of emergency or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a state of emergency that's requested and then granted, and then the governors can use that authority to their discretion or whatever. So
Yeah, and it's well, and also what they're doing too is I remember I heard about Texas, but Texas, Florida, Montana, and New Hampshire, all their governors, which are Republican, have now said that they're calling their National Guardsmen back home. So they do have the authority to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was to say that's what they should fucking do. PA should do it, but fucking Wolf is probably like jacking off to this.
Yeah,
oh, speaking of Wolf, speaking of PA, Biden did us a favor. Say what you will about him, but he did do something good. He got rid of our wonderful, beautiful, progressive Secretary of Health, Rachel Levine.
Brave and beautiful.
Brave and beautiful. He took her away from us, and they put a Penn State alumni in her place. It's wonderful. But the scary thing is, what did he do with her? He put her in charge of the health department of the country.
Well, I don't think. Well, if you actually read what position the person is in, I don't think it's the health secretary. I think it was like an assistant health secretary. So it's actually like even less important.
Oh, thank God.
Like I don't think Rachel Levine.
Yeah.
Fucking just looking at that last name. Like, look at okay. If Chris Chan was a political person, this would be Chris. This looks very similar to Chris Chan.
It freaking does.
Get like a back-to-back. Get like a back-to-back picture of Rachel and fucking Christine, like after the transition, Chris Chan.
A little older, maybe, but basically the same thing. And you're right, it's assistant health secretary. But it's like let's think about this. They put somebody who has a mental illness as the assistant health secretary of the country. A bit ironic. What?
What do you think Rachel's really going to be doing as an assistant health secretary?
Pushing papers.
Yeah, a pencil pusher, fucking bureaucrat. Like, it's honestly, they took Rachel out of power, if anything, because he whatever could do a lot of damage, and did a lot of damage in PA. Like, telling like, oh yeah, just go and send all these people with COVID into these nursing homes, and I'll take my mom out of you because I love my mom.
Yeah, let's remember that it was all all about, oh my God, we gotta send these people back to their nurses. Oh, but mine, they gotta come out. They gotta come out. I mean, that's why there's so many conspiracies over this virus. Like, you people feed the conspiracy theories with this crap. I mean, that's messed up. Like, she knew there was a risk in sending these people back, but wouldn't let him, her, its family be subjected to it. It's rules for thee, not for me. We're gonna put you guys at risk, but not me and my family. Like, that's disgusting. That is the worst thing this person's ever done.
I think there was someone from Butler County, like some political figure, got busted for like posting a meme on Facebook about Rachel.
Oh really? Well, what was the meme?
Yeah, I think it was sent you.
Oh, I see it actually. PA lawmaker shares transphobic meme. Oh, let's check this out. This is gonna be good. I owe an apology. Oh, really?
I think it was one.
That's the rule. The rule is okay. So the rule, the dictator Phil rule is, you can have anything offensive. You can have an offensive meme as long as it's funny. That is the rule. It can be as offensive. It can be as horrible as you want to make it, as long as it's funny. It's funny. You get. If it's funny, there's a you get a pass. You get a free pass, right? Doesn't matter how many people you offend, as long as it's funny, you get a free pass. That's Dictator Phil's rule on memes. Anyway, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No, I totally agree with that, dude. I'm trying to find the meme because we need to grade it. We need to see if he's should have resigned, should have apologized, or not. If it's worth it. Did your article have the meme, Alex?
No, I think it was a meme I sent you though.
Oh, you think it was a? Oh my god! If it's that one, holy shit! I love how the picture they use of this guy, the PA legislator Jeff Pyle, who sent the meme. He's like at a podium that has a sign that says "Make the Second Amendment Great Again." Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna put the image.
There's
on the
a meme
screen.
I saw on Gab. By the way, fucking love Gab. By the way, all right.
It's getting better.
Ever since I left Twitter and I joined Gab, it's been fucking fantastic. Anyway, so I saw a comic of Gab where Joe Biden sniffs on a woman, and she turns around and it's fucking Rachel Levine, and he starts drinking bleach. Fucking hilarious.
Well, we said, I don't know if it's the same one, but it's that one where Biden's in the background with his hands on the person sniffing them. We used to have one in our group me that was him doing it to Trump, but we replaced it with one with him sniffing Rachel Levine. So that's great. I think this is the one that Alex posted is the one. It says Biden's new Assistant Secretary of Health has a picture of the guy from Despicable Me in like a pink tutu with like wings. It's got the freaking hair too.
You know, that's pretty generous.
See, that's funny. All right, there you go.
I know.
I think that's funny.
I'll DM it to you, Phil, because I don't know if you look at the screen, but he shouldn't have apologized. He should have embraced this one. Oh, that's so funny.
Well, no, I mean, I guess you could say, hey, my bad, but still, you gotta admit. I would be like, if it were me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I offended some people, but you gotta admit, it's pretty fucking funny.
Yes.
I think that's what the guy, like, he did an apology in a way. It was like, I think he got pressured into doing it. Not apologies.
Like what I had to do on the radio.
Like a bare minimum apology. Yeah. Fuck Penn State's radio. They're full of communist chills.
He says, I owe an apology and I offer it humbly to all affected. He says that he had no idea the post mocking Levine would be received as poorly as it was.
See, I love that apology. That apology is great. That apology is about as funny as the meme. Dude, that is fucking great.
Because you know he knows. Like, he's put that little twist in it just to mess with people. I had no idea it would be as offensive.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry this wannabe pussy's offended.
Yes.
Like, if you want to be transgender, at least put in some effort, you know? Come on.
Yeah, she looks like it. You know, like she, he, it looks like a fucking, like, she looks like one of those weird, crazy cat ants. Like, yeah, if you're gonna do, like, at least, like, if you're gonna put yourself together like that, at least have some pride in yourself. Like, yeah, it's like she made the transit. She, it made the transition and then just stopped fucking caring. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like she's just like, I'm now Rachel, and now I'm giving up. Fuck this. Like,
no, it looks like he just grew his hair, a bit longer. Like, decide, like the rest of us, I guess I can't go to a barber shop, and that's it. Done.
Dude, my first encounter with a transgender individual, I was in the student government, and I saw this dude come in wearing a fucking dress, and he still had like a Mexican mustache, and he's a larger gentleman, and it's just like, if you're gonna be doing this, like there's some, they have some.
I'm sorry, I think it's a joke. Like, did you think it was a joke? Did you think it was a joke when you first saw it? Like.
Yeah, no, there was a certain person who was involved with a certain club, and I was on Facebook and I saw them posting, and I thought they were making it like literally a joke, and then
people
was like, oh, this person actually transitioned. I was like, oh my god.
It's funny you say that, Phil, because that was how I reacted when I ran into somebody at school in high school, and I think one or two before this person, but this person was a straight up dude. He was a very nerdy dude, but like, I mean, he was a dude. And then one day I was sitting there and I'm like, on the computer, and he's next to me, and I see he has what's it called, nail polish on his fingers. And I'm like, oh, this is like a prank. This is something like funny, something he was forced to do, like he lost a bet. I mean, that's what I would assume. That's what most people would assume. And I literally, I should have kept my fucking mouth shut. I was like, I literally ironically said to him sarcastically, oh, nice nails you got there. And he's like, thank you. I was like, okay, I was joking. You picked up on that, right? Because like, we don't do that. Fast forward to Penn State, and I see this person, kind of nerdy looking, but longer hair, and the fingernails, they had the shit on it. It was fucking him again, and he was a her.
Gosh,
dude, that's crazy. Like, man,
he's mad. She wanted you to suck her cock.
Like, having like transgender people, and you're like high school and shit. Like, fuck. I was talking to my aunt and uncle. Like, my aunt's, I think, going back to be a school teacher, and like they had to go and pull their one kid out of the public school because it got so fucking full of like liberals and stuff. Like not like the fucking nutty ones. Like they had transgender kids, and I think she was in middle school, and they had transgender kids in middle school. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, multiple.
Oh god, that's below the age of 18. You're not an adult, and you're going through that. Did they have the surgery done?
I don't think so. I didn't ask. And then I remember I was like talking, and then like I think I said something about like headmates, and like she knew what I was talking about. She explained to her mom like what the fucking headmates and all that other like Tumblr shit, and I'm like, I like, take your kid out of that fucking school right now. This is bullshit. Kids shouldn't be dealing with this.
Well, did you see what Biden did in relation to this?
They like some sort of law that transgender.
So one thing that Trump did pretty early on was he put an executive order, signed an executive order where it basically said that if you are a dude and you've become a woman, let's say you're Rachel Levine, you can't play in women's sports. You got to stick to the boys' sports because, I don't know, you still have the testosterone as a boy, you still have the build as a boy, you still have the muscular build of a boy. You're still a boy. You still probably have the thing downstairs too. But Biden basically reversed that. I know you're going to get a lot of people online that say, well, that's not what he did. If you read it, it doesn't say anything about that specifically. But if you read what he did, that's what it does. That is the intent, and that's what it does.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna get and play sports, I think, and you do women's sports, you can't have the penis. Like, number one. Like, absolutely. Like, if you try to come in there with your cock still attached, like that's, I think that's basically, you're fucking cheating at that point. On top of the other stuff, like I think they need to make like a transgender. If they're gonna do this stuff and they want to compete in sports, give them a transgender division so they're with other like transgender people, because that would be fair.
That's probably the only fair way, other than how it was, which is like, if you still have the testosterone as a boy, the build of a boy, the body parts of a boy, you're staying with the boys. I don't care how long your hair is or if you're wearing a dress. And this policy is anti-women. Like, it's anti-women. It is literally, you're going to have dudes beating the shit out of girls in wrestling. You're going to have dudes like clobbering women in, I'm trying to.
You already have it. The Fallon Fox, man.
Exactly.
That's a dude. That is a dude.
Yeah, exactly. In track, they're gonna be kicking their asses. Like, it's so wrong, and it's going to.
Dude, South Park nailed it. South Park fucking nailed it.
Oh, did they do something on this?
Yo, oh my God, So South Park had an episode where the vice principal strong woman, like
Oh yeah.
the super feminist, right? She ended up doing these. She was going for the male, like the female competition, strong woman competition, and they started letting transgenders in for the first year. And she was like, "I'm okay with it. I don't see why you're." She's like, they're like, "Okay, well, here's your competition," and it's fucking this dude that looks like the Macho Man Randy Savage. He's like, "Oh yeah, like yeah." Good. She's like, "Good luck. Luck is for dudes, man." I'm like, it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, you have to watch it. It's funny. And the people at South Park, they nailed it. They fucking nailed it. They all, every now and again, South Park comes up with an episode that they absolutely just nail. And yeah, that was one of them. It was actually a recent one too, because it had the PC babies in it too. And like, it was funny.
I stopped paying attention to South Park a while ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I did too. But the only reason like people gave it so much shit. It was like all over the news. Like people were fucking like you got your leftists that were freaking out about it, and "Oh, it's transphobic or something."
Oh
Like, no, it's
God.
like they're like this is a legit discussion that's supposed to be had. Like,
Sean, it's 11 o'clock.
yeah, you can't just.
Hey, good night. It's 11 o'clock.
What's up?
No, you guys can keep going.
I think he's getting busted. But
Yeah, just keep going. Ignore that.
Yeah.
no, I remember they had like a way old one like back, like they had, I think Kyle's dad got like the dolphin surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And then they completely changed their whole opinion. Like I think they made a good point in the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just feels like they've gone more left and left and left than they used to be.
Absolutely. I mean,
Well,
I've heard there's some good episodes here, like the China one.
Yeah, there's
But-
like every now and again they'll come up with a good episode, but mostly, yeah. I mean, the only thing, like, the one thing that I really liked, I mean, like Family Guy is definitely gone left. Like they've just absolutely gone left. But like South Park, I think for the most part they try to just make fun of everybody, but of course they're, Comedy Central that's CBS Viacom. That's not like, they're not having any of that shit. Like that's.
Well, see, someone needs to make a fucking an actual fucking like right wing, or even like a fucking like an actual comedy show that is like more on like a sort of right wing or libertarian lens, just because they can make fun of like literally anybody. Like, because if you get too far, they're like, "Oh, we ain't gonna make fun of this or that." But like these, because like South Park used to be that way, I think.
Yeah.
Like especially the earlier stuff, I think they were a lot more libertarian. They'll like in their comedy style, they'll make fun of the left, and then they'll like make fun of fucking George Bush and religion, all this stuff.
Yeah, and this is the problem where they just like. And again, like back back in the 80s, back in the fucking 90s, like in a good chunk of the 90s, they separated the TV viewership of the day, where you had, the kids and the family stuff during the day, and maybe in the night, and like in the evening hours, and then late at night you'd have your fucking, you'd have your adult shit, right? Okay, because the adults were still up during the adult shit, right? So because the kids were supposed to be in bed, but now everything is mixed up, and there's no real separation. So now it's like,
Hey, do we want to join Chad's? I think Sam might want to pop on.
I was gonna say it too, because I saw him speaking in the chat there. He said, "What a shit week." I'll move to Chad's right now. Yeah, I mean, it's been Biden's first week, so most people aren't gonna like that. I feel you on that, but I will I never watched the older South Parks because obviously I was young, but I watched a little bit. Just, I don't know, it really didn't hit for me, but I get why people like it, and I do appreciate when they go after certain things, because like Alex said, it just feels like there's there's like nothing that represents. I'm trying to think because I might be not thinking something to be like, well, what about this obscure show? But I
mean, the only other show that sort of does that, I would say, would be
The Ranch or that Tim
no,
Allen show.
The Ranch. It wasn't like, I mean, it's a comedy, but it was like a sitcom. It wasn't like that. I would say probably the closest thing would have like fucking Always Sunny. Like at least they try to be like more politically neutral, but even then, like I think they've kind of changed a little bit. Like they've just tried to be offensive.
What's that show? Oh, Last Man Standing. That's kind of.
But it's not like a comedy show. It's like a.
It's comedy, but it's not like the comedy of South Park per se. But you're right. There is no like right wing comedy show that like that's like, think of like the Stephen Colbert, but it's pro Trump. The right wing Stephen Colbert, that does not exist.
Steven Crowder. Oh wait.
Comedy show.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's not funny. Owen Benjamin. Oh wait, he's not. He's definitely not funny.
Start the drinking again.
Everyone take a sip. Swig. I keep saying sip. It sounds so gay. Speaking of Crowder, he would say something like that, but I can find Crowder funny at times.
Anthony Cumia is one of my favorite comedians. Anthony Cumia, absolutely. He had like, because he had the show Opie and Anthony that was like a real fucking popular a while back.
I remember O&A. I'm
O&A.
Remember
fucking
that.
Super popular, right? And so anyway, so they split up. They did their own, like they couldn't stand they couldn't stand each other. And then I think Opie tried to start his own. He tried to start his own podcast, but he wasn't the funny one. Opie wasn't the funny one, right? Anthony Cumia was the funny one.
Breaking news, guys. The reason I'm late to starting my own stream too is YouTube like keeps doing this bullshit of like logging me out of my own YouTube account. I don't know what the
Facebook did that to everyone last night.
They're on it. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you, Sam.
Sam, did you try to reset your password? Someone might have, try to log in with your account.
Yeah, it's not that. It's doing this weird thing because I have to use G Suite for my classes, and it keeps wanting to like I had to use the Chrome browser. Usually I use Chrome for school, but I had to use Brave for some reason this week, and for some reason now every time I try and log out of my like academic account, it won't let me log out. So but anyway, I think I've got it fixed, so we'll be going live. But yeah.
By the way, too, speaking of Sam, his shirt has been sent. It's in the mail. So, breaking news on that. There will be.
You better wear that shit. You better let me know when you wear that shit, because I want to see it.
I want to see it, man. An unboxing video.
Furthermore, you know what you got to do, Sam. You need to you need to email YouTube and tell them to go get a fucking naked chariot ride, man. fuck them, right?
No, what we need to do is when that package arrives, I know it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna have to control the temptation and not open it. And we're gonna wait till a good time, and we're gonna live stream an unboxing. We're gonna hit that unboxing audience. We're gonna be unboxing a live exclusive T-shirt, and we're gonna see your reaction live. You're gonna put it on live. So ladies, get ready. You're gonna see shirtless Sam for once. It's gonna be a great night. Not gonna want to miss it. Hey, it'll be brief. It'll be a brief sneak peek. You can find more on his OnlyFans at Naked Chariot Ride _NGC, and it's gonna be awesome.
Let me. Oh, thank God! I finally got in. So I'll be going live here in a split sec. But yeah, Biden is not even a full weekend, and already YouTube is trying to fuck me, and not in a fun way. So
No.
You need a chariot for that.
you,
Did you see also, speaking of romantic, this is a tweet from the Washington Post. It says, Pete Buttigieg is right. Airports are romantic.
What fucking airport are you talking about?
I have never, in my many, many times at an airport, ever seen anything romantic. Maybe when it's a loved one that just landed, you haven't seen ages, but that shit ain't happening in the airport. It's happening outside at the car thing.
You know what? There was one time where I was at an airport, and it was LAX, I think it was. I had to get off the plane, and I had TMI, right? I had to take a shit. Okay, it was horrible, right?
It's okay, I've done it too.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, so I went to the bathroom. I moved people out of the way to get there, and I went and did my business. But anyway, as I was doing my business, okay, I noticed that there were some noises. Two stalls the other way, right? And it sounded like they were fucking. Okay, so I was like, I was very uncomfortable, but I was like, this shit happens all the time. Whatever, fuck it, whatever. And I wasn't gonna stop shitting because somebody was like, So anyway, so I do. So I'm doing my business, right? And I noticed on the like, how you have the door and it has the little crack like that you can kind of see on the outside. Anyway, so I see a dude get out. I see a dude get out of the out of that stall that they were in, because there was like two sets of shoes or whatever. And then it looked kind of homeless, run down, whatever. And so like 10 minutes later, what do I see? I see another homeless looking dude going out of that same fucking stall.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
Dude, are you kidding me? There are two damn near homeless looking dudes fucking in a stall. That's LAX for you, right?
Jesus,
all right.
You want
to say that's romantic? You're out of your fucking mind, right?
Well, you know why he's saying this romantic? Here's the why, and this is pathetic. This is despicable. This is sinful. Buttigieg. This is the sub headline here. Joe Biden's pick for transportation secretary. No, it's transportation secretary. Mentioned that he proposed to his husband at O'Hare Airport Gate B5.
Oh, so that's why he's transportation secretary.
Literally. What the fuck is that? Who proposes in an
Chicago
airport?
Of all of them? What? Jeez.
I guess if he said no, then he could just go and board a plane and fly away in, sadness.
I guess. But it's like, who the fuck does that? At an airport? Was he coming home from deployment or something?
If you're going to do that, at least propose at like a nice airport, like, DIA.
I know. It's like, what in the... I don't get people. I don't get people. There's so many beautiful places. There's like Hawaii. There's the Alps. There's the Grand Canyon. There's your fucking backyard, okay? There's the Arboretum of Penn State. But he picks O'Hare Airport, Gate 5. Gate 5. Why? Literally why? I mean, I want to know why, but I think Wall Street or Washington Compost is going to have a paywall come up. Yep, they did. So I'm sorry, guys. You're never going to know.
Oh, geez. How am I going to sleep tonight at night? Okay.
Oh, bro, did you see? This is my favorite story of the week. You said this is a shit week. This is my favorite story. I don't care what anybody says. The best story of the week. So there was a Michigan council meeting, county council meeting. You know, it's always these bullshit committees doing their like, oh, we're doing a meeting to seem important. And this was such an important meeting because people were upset that they were, you know, I don't want to say friendly with the Proud Boys, but they weren't exactly going out of their way to like hunt them down, and they were calling on them to condemn them and to make a statement, all these things. So one of the fucking guys, the county commissioner, on the Zoom call, because it's a Zoom meeting, pulls out his fucking gun and flashes it for like a good solid like 10 seconds and then puts it down, and there are headlines and screenshots of this everywhere. He is a legend. This guy should get a full lifetime membership to Mar-a-Lago. He should be a lifetime member of the Proud Boys. He should be their idol. I mean, what a saint. And of course, this is Michigan.
Dude,
this is why I love Michigan.
Boomers, man. Boomers have been stepping up recently. Yes. I'll give that to them.
Dude, they have been. They have been. When I said this to you guys, I said like legend. I was tempted to say boomers rise up because I had the same sentiment too. And this is from Grand Traverse County. If nobody knows what, because I think this is where Traverse City is. This is up north in Michigan, which is your more, you know, some might say hillbilly area. I don't say that, but that's what some people say around there. Like, gets more hillbilly. But it's your more rural, rednecky. It's like the Alabama of Michigan. But Traverse City is like the second biggest city or third biggest city there. Like, it's a pretty ritzy, nice place, and they have these sort of people up there. So this is amazing. I love it. It's just awesome. Like, can you imagine your county commissioner doing this? Like, this wasn't a citizen. This wasn't just a random dude to show up or a Proud Boy. It's a county commissioner. Love it. Love it. Oh my god. 70-year-old retired nurse and regular attendee of the board meeting spoke at the gathering about denouncing the activities of the Proud Boys. The woman criticized the board by allowing members of the group to speak during a March meeting regarding making them the county a gun sanctuary based. And who was the dude that did this? Because they kind of bury this in the story where like he flashes it. Oh, after the woman finished speaking, Rob, chair of the board of commissioners, stopped the public comment period to address claims the Proud Boys were getting. He challenged some of the claims, and then when does he pull out the gun? After 10 minutes later, she starts receiving calls. The community was okay. That's after it. Oh god, people were calling her to make sure she felt safe. Oh god. Do you know what type of gun that was? That an AR? I think that was an AR. Let's see. Trying to find. CNN's articles are trash.
I'm waiting for Dianne Feinstein to come through with another fucking bill to try to ban weapons again.
Yep, that'll come up.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, okay, so speaking of Dianne Feinstein, I was watching The Night Stalker on Netflix. Which was not bad. Not bad bad documentary. But anyway,
I think that guy had an AR-15, by the way.
Yeah, and I'll let you go in a second, Phil. One thing I did find it. What happened was he got up when this woman was speaking and then came back with the gun. Fucking base.
She called up the police.
Yeah, because he briefly held out his chest and then he put it down. Oh my god, that's so funny. But yeah, what were you saying, Phil?
So anyway, Night Stalker, right? So this guy was killing people, raping them, mutilating some of them. Like, like horrendous murderer, horrendous serial killer, right? And so he part of him was, you know, they were there. So in the early stages of this dude's killing spree, he was, you know, they were gathering information on him and they were tracking him down or whatever. And and so they were gathering information, they were trying to just set it up. And who the fuck releases this information to the public to completely throw the course off? That would be the then mayor of San Francisco, Dianne Feinstein.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So she released the killer's information out of the public, right? And fucking threw, like, spooked him away to do more killings elsewhere. Like, I'm like, yo, you. And they were pissed. Like, the cops were pissed. Like that she went in front of the camera and did that shit. But like, it was like, that's total Dianne Feinstein. She's all show, no go. Like, her claim, like authoring a fucking weapons ban that was completely useless. Fucking one of her, when the 49ers were trying to move to Santa Clara, she tried to get a bill passed to where the 49ers couldn't use San Francisco or 49ers in their team name when they moved to Santa Clara. It was like the most useless shit in the world, right? I just like, and she still managed to be worth about $60 million. So yeah.
Do you know how old that bitch is now?
Guys, I think I finally got a fucking stream app.
There we
you,
go. There you go.
You YouTube. So
I think it's just because you're in Florida.
All right. Anyway, though, yeah, we're gonna start this shit here. So let's see.
Dianne Feinstein is 87 years old. She's pushing 90. And she is still senator of California.
Well, I mean, she's useless anywhere else, though. I mean, you know,
just makes a lot of noise.
I mean, look, to be fair, working in Congress, that's like, you know, that's a sweet gig for a lazy piece of shit. Like, I mean, look, you really don't have to do shit. You're getting a paycheck. You're like, dude, just, you know. Coast.
She even filed FCC paperwork needed to seek re-election 2024 when she'll be 91.
You ever see that fucking Harry Potter thing with that pink bitch?
That's it like looks Diane like her. It does.
Like, looks like her and acts like her because she wants to ban defense against the dark arts. It's basically banning, like, the fucking guns and stuff. She's just a complete bitch.
Yeah, you know, she's like Dolores Umbridge. She's Umbridge. Does she have a cat?
Probably. I mean, she was banging. No, she wasn't banging. That was the fucking fart guy who was banging the Chinese.
Fart guy. Yeah, he was. No. Yeah, he was banging the Chinese spy, but she had Chinese spy, I think, infiltrate her staff or something. No, there is something with that. It's probably buried here on Wikipedia, but yeah, she had ties with Chinese spies. Don't worry, she did. She's only one of the ones that got caught. If you Google that, you'll find more about. But yeah, that's funny. But hey, apparently Trump's too old to do shit, dude. 91 we got here. 91.
All right, we're gonna start this shit. So.
All right, you want to do your intro?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
So, actually, let's do. You guys can keep talking because I'm doing the opening. for right now.
Okay, gotcha.
So I started doing a on my Gab page. I started I started putting jokes on my. Actually, I didn't really start putting jokes. I mean, I've been doing that for God knows how long. But I've been basically Amy Schumering old jokes and replacing them with leftist. Right?
Yes.
I'm gonna read one. I'm gonna read one here. A blacksmith, a fisherman, and a leftist are all stranded on an island. They find a genie bottle on the island. The genie told them that he can grant to each one of them one wish, but they have to stay on the island. They can't wish to leave the island or anything. So the blacksmith said, I want some iron ore so that I can make tools and help create items that I need for survival. Fair enough, right? The fisherman said, I really want a strong fishing rod so that I can fish for food that I need for survival. The leftist was like, I want a car door so that anytime it gets hot, I can lower the car window.
Oh my god. I'm giving that one a like.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. You know.
I notice on Gab, even though you have less followers, you get way more interaction usually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we can talk about all that in just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right.
Trump has given permission for the troops to stay at Trump Hotel. Oh yeah, by the way, that was one thing I forgot. There's video of cops and troops at Trump Hotel in that lobby area. It's where like there's a bunch of seating areas and also the restaurant, the bar, and it's like filled with them. You can go check out Don Jr., who's also on Telegram now. We're on Telegram. I think it's Adverse Media. I think we're on Telegram, are we? I know we all are personal capacity, but
I should probably get on it more. But like, I like Gab. I gotta be honest. I mean, I'm gonna try though. I'm gonna try to create more of it. I mean, I wish there was something I could do. Like, I'm trying to find something where I could post on Gab and Telegram, but I don't think that's gonna work.
I use Telegram more than Gab because Gab is still very slow for me. It's gotten better, but
it's actually quick. Yeah, it's actually kind of. I like it now. Like, I wasn't a week ago. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? But now I'm like, all right, I could do it. It's fast enough where I could deal with it.
Yeah. I've noticed I've been slowly using it more. I want to use it. Like, don't get me wrong. I always check it every day. Be like, is Gab gonna load today? Nope. Okay. Try again in an hour. But Telegram.
All right, guys.
Yeah, Telegram has been consistent. That's where I follow everyone, and there's been a lot of new people flooding on there. A lot of normie conservatives.
All right, Sam, do your thing.
Do we lose?
Alrighty, folks. Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report. Sorry we're so late starting. We were supposed to start over an hour ago at 10, but long story short, YouTube and Google and all those weirdos Kevin Dugan says, check my mic. Really, already, Kevin? There are mic issues. I'm not yelling at you, Kevin. I'm pissed with YouTube and everything already. Anyway, is this any better?
No.
Anyway, thanks for joining me and joining the show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @SomDipper_NGC. Hashtag Whitfield Report. You can follow me on You can follow me on Gab and Minds at Sam Whitfield, no longer on Parlor.
Parlor's dead.
Yep,
They
Parlor
lost
is
their
dead.
lawsuit. Did you see that against AWS?
Yeah,
Amazon?
they weren't gonna win. Like
I think
these
that
people are
was
fucking morons.
It was the injunction I think they lost.
Yeah,
not the whole
but that,
lawsuit though.
yeah,
They're still not coming back.
Website.
no.
And
If they lose if they were losing the injunction, there was a good chance they're probably not gonna do shit in the lawsuit.
The Whitfield Report, and also, for the time being, you can still donate to streamlabs.com/the Whitfield Report, and we deeply appreciate that. And I am joined by the good gentleman over at Versa Media, who they've been on mute on stream for the past couple minutes, but and I've been hanging over there on their stream, so we're kind of simulcasting. So, gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
How?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
You sure smell a lot like flowers.
We were
Is
just
YouTube gonna take my shit off if I do that? Because I was doing a hanky poo thing. Anyway, whatever.
Hey, if you're imitating Herbert the Pervert, they're probably gonna allow it on YouTube.
Well, it's not Twitter.
It's close. Remember the kid stuff they used to have on YouTube?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like YouTube actually does a pretty good job of taking shit like that down. But Twitter, I don't know.
But I think if it's just me impersonating somebody, I don't think that should count because like it doesn't matter. Like it shouldn't because I'm that fucking funny.
Let's go like a copyright claim by fucking like.
We're copyrighting claim because you shouldn't have impersonated that person. Like no, okay, so legally, it's transformative art. Okay, so
it's transformative art doesn't mean shit to YouTube anymore. I've gotten copyright strikes for supposed
Susan Wojcicki, that old fucking bag. All right.
We were just ranting about Parler though and how stupid they are.
They are fucking idiots. Grossly fucking morons.
Even if they come back, who would want to get it at this point? What do they have that Gab doesn't offer?
They have a shittier UI. They have shittier data management. They have shittier CEOs and management. That's what they have that Gab doesn't.
Going from Gab to Parler is like leaving filet mignon for some fucking beef jerky. That's
the only thing that Parler had at that time was that they weren't banned yet, and now they lost that, so there's no point.
They had the apps and they had the people. Now they have no app, no people, because they have no site.
And they had fewer neo-Nazis too.
That's true, actually.
Actually, you know what? Being on Gab, I haven't really seen the fucking neo-Nazis that everybody says is on the fucking platform. Like I've yet to see anything like wild and crazy on the fucking platform.
That's because
I've seen it on Telegram. I've seen weird shit on Telegram.
Yeah. Telegram has a far greater problem with that, like without a doubt. With Gab, because there's been this mass migration from Parler to Gab, the normies have outnumbered the crazies. And so it's more of how you'd expect it, and it would be for a free speech platform.
Yeah. So, I mean, all I do is look, and I love Gab. I'm ever since I left Twitter and I've been on Gab, it's been fucking glorious. And all I do is just I make jokes and people laugh and we have a good time. Like somebody wrote like, I'm not a beekeeper yet, but I want to help repopulate the bees. What should I do? Whatever. And I had to be a dick, and I'd be like, look, I heard that feeding them any flower except for the wither flower will help repopulate the bees. Yes, that was a really shitty Minecraft joke. Okay.
Well,
where the wither flower.
Anyway. Well, at least someone's able to make jokes in these troubling times. So gentlemen, since the last time we spoke, we have a new. I don't even know if I can call him president at this point.
Oh, don't be a Qer. Don't be a QAnon where they think it's a
no,
face
no,
off.
no, no, no. fuck those people. Fuck.
It's really Trump in a mask.
Really, yeah, it's not really. He's not really president, man. It's like a covert operation.
And that's fucking
no,
face
I've
off.
seen the Q post. It's Trump in a mask and a bodysuit. That's what happened.
No. Have you seen this, Sam? Like, they literally, and I'll tell a personal anecdote of this. They literally think it's the movie Face Off. Like, they literally think that.
I know. I fucking look. I've heard. I think you actually liked my tweet on this, but I shit you not. I heard from one of my neighbors who is into Q, who shall remain nameless. I know he listens to this show, so you know who you are. But for God's sakes, okay. So the latest Q theory is that like, Trump lives here in Florida, right? So
no, he doesn't. He's in the White House.
Well, we are to believe that when Trump left Washington and came to Florida, we are to now believe that that Palm Beach, or wherever Trump lives, is now the U.S. capital, and that Trump is running the entire country from here, and that all those National Guardsmen and Marines and the armed forces in D.C., they're just on standby, waiting for Trump to give the order to retake the White House.
Oh, really?
Then why would you arrest the people who stormed the Capitol? Then, like, why would they be arrested if this conspiracy took place?
It's all part of the plan, Alex. Don't question it.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to one of these Q people about like who actually believes in this.
Don't know, brother, but trust the plan, and
there's a plan in place, man. You gotta trust it.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm actually amazed at how, like, I'm not even mad at the Q people anymore. Like, I'm genuinely amazed at this point, like, how they can keep this ruse up, and like, they buy their own stuff too. That's the even more amazing part. They literally all believe this this myth that they've concocted.
And it's getting worse. Like, we were even talking about, it's like, where does Q go after the election? And it's like it's stuck. It's in a limbo. I have an anecdote for this too, because a few days ago, as you guys know, and audience, if you don't know, I worked on the 2020 campaign for Trump, so I have my phone number still in the hands of a lot of Trump voters and Trump volunteers and non-volunteers that said they would do stuff but didn't. And one of those people that does have my number, I don't even remember who he is. He said, "Hi, this is Joe Schmo. Call me back when you get the chance," because I didn't pick it up. I think he called and I was sleeping. And I'm like, I don't recognize this name, but I'll call you back, I mean, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a Trump supporter member from Lancaster. Call me back." Okay. I call him, and he's like, "I just wanted to get your thoughts on things because, this craziness that's been happening, there's what's really going on, right?" I'm like, oh, fuck. Whenever you get those people that are like, "Do you know what's really going on? You really know?" He's like, everything you send to me is all a lie. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah." He's like, "Well, have you seen what's been happening down there? There's a military coup happening." I'm like, that's a little hyperbole. Like, I'm just thinking this because he didn't let me speak, of course. And I eventually had to jump in, but he's like, there's a military coup happening right now, and they're preventing Biden from being the president. That's why they're down there. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you just see the inauguration? Did you see the hand on the book? Did you see him in the Oval Office? Did you see Trump saying that he's leaving and it's over? But he goes further. He said the inauguration's fake. Trump is still president. And he said, did you notice that Biden isn't using Air Force One? I'm like, what? And I was like, I think that, and this is when I could speak, I was like, I think that's because it was during the inauguration. That's when Trump was down. The Air Force One was flying Trump to Florida. Like, we saw that on TV. So that's why Biden was using a private jet. He's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I was like, I think that's going to switch over. And I was like, no, I don't know. I mean, you can believe that, but that's not what I'm seeing. And then I told him, well, Biden's in office because, like, didn't you see all those executive orders he signed? And he goes, I don't know, man. Those are all fake. They're not on the Federal Registry. I'm like, really? Maybe there's, I don't know, a little bit of delay. Maybe there's some time. Maybe not everything gets put in there instantly. He's like, it's not there, so it's fake. And I kept going back and forth with this guy for like a good minute because I was trying to like be nice, but he's like, what do you think? I'm like, it's over. It's done. And he's like, no. He's like, he literally thinks Trump is still president. He says it was a fake inauguration. It was a fake executive orders. And he thinks Trump is still president. And he thinks the military. He's like, do you think the military would let Joe Biden become president? I'm like, I don't think the military has a say in that. I think the American people do, and Congress certifies those results. And he goes, Congress doesn't certify the results. Congress doesn't have the final say. You think Congress does, not the military? I'm like, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's it. Then he eventually like gave up. He's like, okay, well, you can see things that way. Goodbye. I was like, bye. Dude, some of these people are so fucking... I'm trying to refrain from using harsh language, but they are really stuck. Yeah.
See,
I mean,
if Hollywood was smart, they'd go and hire these cute people to go and make movies because, like, that's some very good movie material. I think it'd be a good movie.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Okay, so admittedly, this is the other thing I've got to give the Q people credit for. Like if you read the Q stuff, like it's like the best science fiction / like political thriller, like, you know, stuff you will have ever read in a while, right? If you look at it as fiction, it's pretty damn good. But I mean, to think that people actually like legit buy this, and this is the thing, is like I know that obviously there are lots of conservatives that, you know, like us, who think it's retarded, and there are lots of people who don't buy it, right? But there are enough people out there that do buy it that, like, it could seriously, I mean, it's already kind of fucking with, you know, the MAGA movement and whatnot, because everything that we've built, so to speak, over the last, you know, 5 years is slowly being co-opted by, you know, these conspiracy freaks who, you know, and even there are even cute people in Congress. There's that one senator. Let me try and pull up the
I think I'm majority green. They can kind of smear her as Q, but I don't really know if she's actually believes that stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping that she doesn't, because everything I've read, like even from some of the more, you know, conservative blogs on our side, have said that she's that she does believe in Q. And
something like she kind of there's something a little off. I think there's something a little off about her. Like whenever I hear her speak, like in an interview or something like that, I'm always like, is there something off about her? Like I'm not. What do you guys think, man? Because I'm like, I look. Do you ever listen to somebody and you think like something's just not quite right? You don't want. I don't think they're nut. I don't think they're really nutty per se, but there's just something that's not like.
I haven't really seen
there's
a
something
lot
a
of.
little off, just a little off.
Oh, I haven't really seen a lot of her. I've seen bits and pieces. I've seen headlines, and she cracks me up. Honestly, I'd have to do a bigger, deeper dig to get a final opinion of her. But I love that she's pulling out articles of impeachment against Biden. I think that's great. That's fantastic. It's not going to go anywhere, and that's not the point of it. But the point is like, okay, you guys can do this. Well, we're going to do it too. I do give her some credit where credit's due. I'd have to see where, how deep she goes into the Q shit, because the media's trying to frame everybody as a Q supporter, as a Q cultist,
and that's what's so annoying.
Exactly, and I think Alex Jones was right in this recent video he did where he said that Q has discredited a lot of the true stuff in Pizzagate and other stuff.
Exactly, like you bring up like one legit, and look, like 10 years ago, I thought Alex Jones was crazy, right? But I'm not necessarily even against people questioning their government. By all means, I think people on both sides question the government. I think questioning things is good, but the problem with Q is it takes like questioning and having like healthy skepticism, and takes it to 100 and 2.
Yeah. It takes those things and shoots them in the ass with steroids. Like, what the fuck?
It goes off the spectrum. Like it just goes stupid. And I mean it's a little like, I'm not trying to sound like a leftist because this is what the media keeps saying, but like it is a little frightening to see. I mean, I don't think it's that big. I really don't think it's that big. I think it's less than 5% of Republicans, but it's like, doesn't take a lot of stupid people to do something stupid. I mean, it's infuriating. I mean, I'm talking to these people. Like, I literally talked to a guy because he started saying, well, you need to look at other sources. I'm like, dude, I fucking do, okay? Like, what do you think I do? Like, he's like, oh, you need to, I listen to, like, General Flynn and Steve Turley. I'm like, yeah, I know those guys. I follow them on Gab. And then he goes, and also Linwood. Linwood's a great place to start. And I was like, oh, no. I literally told him, I was like, yeah, I looked at him, but when I saw him tweeting some, like, QAnon stuff, I started, like, not looking at him as much. And he didn't comment any of that because I was trying to figure out if he was a Q guy. But he obviously believes there's stupid stuff. But, dude, it's so freaking... This is why people call him Q-tards. Like, I just don't, like, get... Like, how can you think that Trump is still president?
Well, yeah, and it's like I even told my neighbor who's into Q. I'm like, look, I would love for Trump to still be president, right? I would love to be able to wake up tomorrow and have this all be a big misunderstanding, but it's not. And the other thing with Q too is when you ask them for like evidence of whatnot, they always go back to, well, just trust the plan, right?
Oh,
At least with Alex Jones, right? If you're skeptical of him, like even when I was skeptical of him, even if you don't necessarily think his sources are legit, at least he fucking provides sources and provides stuff that you can you know, look up.
Yeah, he
Like
cites
he
his
has
sources. He has receipts. The cute people have nothing but fortune cookies on the internet.
they have well, they do have documents supposedly, which I've gotten a few of these documents on, in like my email, but they look like stuff that could easily be spoofed in Microsoft Word or something. If you like know how, or like or in like a layout.
Bro, you gotta send us that shit.
I don't I don't I don't fucking I don't think I have those emails anymore. I deleted them, but like, and that's the other thing. I'm like, when these people were sending me emails, I'm like, really? You're sending me you're sending me documents that are classified to my to an inbox that like forwards to my Gmail account. Like, why would you even be sending me these documents over regular email, right?
I know. It's like, and look, I even just posted this in chat. There's a dude at some rally, and he has on the back of his uh, high visibility jacket, "Trust the plan" with QAnon. The calm before the storm, I guess. Yeah, calm before the storm. Like, and he's got that cryptic like link thing, that W and those numbers thing. It's a call. It's so freaking weird. WG1WGA, whatever that means.
Wait, what?
WWGA or whatever.
Yeah.
We go all as a WWJD, man.
The fuck? It's so weird. How did they, like? I want somebody to like. We were talking about like papers and theses, but somebody really needs to explore the psychology behind Q.
Well, part. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think part of it is that like it goes on those grains of truth. It's vague enough, like a fortune cookie, that you can put your own answer or meaning into it. But I think it really is. It gives people false hope, and I think the intent of it is to keep people as sheep. That's what the trust the plan thing is. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, don't worry, don't do anything, just trust the plan, stay home, you don't need to vote, you don't need to be active, you don't need to protest, stay home, trust the plan. It's false hope used to keep Republicans from doing anything.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I hate to be this guy, but I think I think Hugh might be a psyop, like a psyop op or something, because think about it. It's obscure. I mean, it's obscure as fuck. Nobody knew what it even was 5 years ago. Hell, no one even knew what it was like 3 months ago for the most part. And it's been building and built.
Q's been around for a long time, man. It's
Yeah.
like 2017 at least. I remember on 4chan or what, or I think it was 8chan. I still had those threads up there, and then I don't know how it spread to the boomers, but some must have disseminated the forbidden knowledge to the old folks.
It came through Boomer Book. Like, that's what happens. It migrated from 4chan to through Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, but see, it's also like, if you think about it this way, like if I were a leftist, QAnon would be the best way possible to basically discredit the right.
It discredits the right, and it also discredits all critical, like the out of the box thinking about the elite, about the Epsteins of the world. Like it discredits all that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Remember when remember when like people were questioning, like even normie people were like questioning what happened with Jeffrey Epstein, right? And that's the other thing that annoys me is like you was supposed to be all about like stopping pedophilia, right? And if and this is the other excuse I love. Well, if you're against pedophilia, then you must be for Q, right?
God.
And it's like, of course I'm for stopping, pedophilia. But the way you stop pedophilia and by busting pedo rings you know, is by giving law enforcement the the proper support, and actually like calling the missing, persons hotline and whatnot. Like all these Q LARPers that like LARP as like anti-pedo, I bet they're the same people who, don't check the missing persons list, or something like that. Like they're too busy LARPing online, to actually like check what's going on with their neighborhood. Like maybe join the neighborhood watch, people do something, other than like post on message boards.
Not everyone has a neighborhood watch,
We don't.
especially after that Zimmerman shenango.
Do you guys know who Will Summers is?
Yeah.
He's writing a book on Q.
Oh.
God. Fucking academics making books on Q.
Will Summer, though, is a far left.
Academics, man, they invaded.
I think we're on a really bad delay.
Academics invade everything, man. They make everything seem like shit.
Yeah, well, he's not really an academic. He's a far lefty journo. I think he works for Daily Beast. And he's known for, I think, allegedly, I'd have to check lists. I think doxing some conservatives, feeding stuff to Antifa. Like, he's a pretty scummy guy. Gavin McGinnis did a hilarious roast of him at CPAC, the one I was at. I think I can still find the video. It's somewhere, but it's so funny. But he like how he fucking roasted him. But that's funny. I'd have to. His book might actually have some freaking merit to it. I mean, he's a total piece of shit, but like, oh, that's funny. Cause it's like the one thing I might honestly have some agreeability on with the left is fucking Q. But they take it they take it to an extreme where they think we all are freaking Q people if we question the government or question the elite. But I won't dwindle on Q too much unless you guys want to, but we'll probably close our stream on our end at around midnight, maybe a few minutes after.
Yeah, did we ever go over that stuff with the 5 best things Trump did and whatnot? Or
yeah, sure. We could all do that.
Let's do that. Are you guys free to stay on for the Whitfield report, or do you guys have other stuff you've got to do?
We might be able to, because I know Phil and I were going to discuss some interesting developments that I think we might be able to tell you, Sam. I'd have to check with Phil, but it's something that we need to discuss off air for now. But we'll do the Trump segment real quick, and we can each go say 5 things we liked, 5 things we didn't like, or the 5 best things, whatever you want to call it. I'll start with myself, though. Let's see. 5 things I loved about Daddy Trump. The wall, of course. He did build 500 miles. Yes, people are like, oh, it's mostly repairs. But it was in places where there was like no wall, so it freaking counts. It's progress. It stopped a lot. Immigration was cut 50%. So I'd say the wall and immigration in general, one of the things I loved. He did the best he can on that, given all the roadblocks he had with Congress. Screwing him over. Wish could have done more, but best he could. Number 2, I'd have to say, I'll throw in the Space Force. I know it's a meme. I know it's very American, but I think it's awesome. It's future thinking. It's legacy, legendary stuff, and I think it's one of the things he'll be remembered for down the road. Number 3, I'd probably say the economy. One of the best economies we've ever had, sadly. COVID killed it. Number 4, I'd have to say, I guess you could say, I'll say North Korea, because there were some historic breakthroughs with meeting with Kim Jong-un, really cool stuff with that we hadn't seen before. And number 5, I'd probably say, is his bashing of the media and his, I'd say, modern presidential anti-PC attitude, using Twitter, the combativeness with the press, giving them shit. Loved it. I loved it so much. I know it's not a policy thing, but it's such a important and effective cultural, social force of destroying the credibility of the media. That's fantastic. Those are just 5 I can think of off the top of my head. I really love. There's probably a lot more that I'm forgetting. I might find better stuff. We'll do a reevaluation next week. But things I didn't like, I'd have to say, like, I guess his picks in his cabinet was probably the biggest problems I had. There were lots that just were bad picks or didn't make sense or didn't work out. And I understand it's hard to hire people and he's an outsider, but I wish he could have fixed that a bit sooner. But my dislikes are things I understand, but I kind of wish could have gone better. Another dislike I say is his last minute pardons. I wish he could have done some more ballsier stuff. That would have been cooler. Like an Assange or Snowden pardon, even though they probably really wouldn't mean a whole lot in all practicality, but it'd be a good middle finger to the establishment. Number 3, I'd have to say, God, it's getting harder, honestly, because I really don't have any big gripes. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like the bump stock thing, but I really don't care about that. I guess I could say, I guess the tech censorship, but even that really needs to happen through Congress, and Congress wasn't behaving. I wish maybe he could have tried something more with Congress, but I don't fucking know what he could have done, because Congress ain't gonna do shit. So I guess that's my number 3. Number 4, I guess I'd say his early messaging with COVID could have been better, and the communication with COVID at the beginning could have been better, even though I think the actions were great. And number 5, God, it's getting harder. I'm struggling, I'm not gonna lie. I can't think of a fucking 5th one. What are some of the things we were talking about before, Alex, that we may not have liked? I seem to agree on.
What about that last executive order he did?
Oh, yeah, where he reversed the lobbying thing, the lobbying ban. I still don't understand that. The only thing I think of is that his people probably were struggling to find jobs, and that's why he did it. But it goes against what he was saying, and it was one of the things I really liked. So I'd put that one on there. I really was disappointed in seeing that. How about you, Alex? I tried my best there.
Yeah, things I liked. That tax cut that he did that gave me $1,000 in my pocket. I like the transparency with medical companies. I think that was a very good move from him. What else was there? Yeah, they got Wall. Like, Wall was all right, but I don't know if I put that up on number 3. But definitely, like, he actually talked about like limiting like H1Bs, and he like worked on that, which I feel honestly is something very important people don't think about. Like, I've seen a lot of companies, like you have the witch companies like Infosys, Tata, all these like Indian out like sourcing companies that'll abuse the H1B system. And I feel that by putting some stuff in there to limit that was great, because that's affecting our tech sector, and these companies, they manipulate stuff like that. Number 4 of the good things that Trump did, I would definitely say, like seeing now, like that stuff with the limiting the prices of like the excess prices for the
insulin.
Yeah, the insulin, like that was great. And then that's the one thing which I wouldn't think that fucking Biden would go to eliminate, but he did. That's gonna make him look like shit. I mean, it's getting people pissed off. And 5, I would say his, like, the whole sort of, you know, cultural stuff that he's done. Like, he's been in support of a lot of people who, you know, conservatives and stuff, like the couple who had their house attacked by Black Lives Matter activists, like where they're going out in this lawn. Like, he supported those people, and a lot of people were just condemning it and just praising Black Lives Matter, but he was, you know, he could see through it, that it was a political ploy. Now, on the other hand, like, I'd say probably the number one thing that I thought was just stupid and got him no benefit was that bump stock ban. And then, like, and I kind of lump it in there with the like, that's, he was talking about like limiting or getting rid of suppressors. That is beyond stupid. When you basically attack your own base, you're not making friends with people on the right. You're hurting your diehard supporters. And he's also not, like, the leftists aren't just like, oh, you know, Trump's all right, you know, he did this and that. No, that's not going to win you any friends on the left. That's a stupid decision. It hurt him in the long run. It got a lot of people who, you know, support him, who are very pro-gun, to go, you know, maybe not vote at all or vote for a third party. I think that was beyond stupid. Second thing that I really didn't like was his, you know, the last thing he did with aligning the lobbyists. He made that rule, and then he just gets rid of it on his last day. Like, I didn't see an explanation from him. I have heard no good explanation. I don't know why he would do that. That goes against a lot of stuff that he was talking about during the slump, and, you know, stopping, you know, the lobbyists. I think that was terrible. Number 3, I would say, would be not raising the alarm more before the election happened. He knew there was going to be fraud involved. I think he could have done more to prevent it before it happened. And I think by waiting till after to go and do all these lawsuits, that wasn't the way to do it. You do yourself beforehand, like, especially in PA, when you knew that they were sending in double ballots. Get your Department of Justice to investigate it. You know, and then kind of going along with that was some of the people that he hired. I think he had a lot of swamp beasts in there, and it seems like he just kept hiring and firing people, which, to me, that's not a good look. Like, there's a lot of people who helped him on the campaign trail, and that, like, you know, they were, you know, enamored by him and would go and, like, go through hell for Trump. And, you know, and then, like, Bannon especially, like, I think that was a terrible decision to fire him. He's probably one of his, like, greatest supporters out there. He was probably more, you know, he helped steer the MAGA movement. Like, he was essential. I feel that when he got rid of him, a bit of that killed a lot of the magic. Like, after that, he seemed like he's started almost transforming, like, afterwards. You know, he wasn't the same after ban as he was before, like, in, you know, the Trump that I voted for. To a certain degree, it seems like maybe the swamp got to him. He came in with the best of intentions, and I think, you know, I think he's still better than any other president in my lifetime, at least. But I feel like the Trump of 2016 and the Trump of, like, 2019 were two different beasts. You know, I feel like a lot of that got sort of lost in translation. I think, what was that, 3?
I think that was 3 or 4. You said bump stocks, the executive order reversal, and I think it was something else.
And then they were hiring.
Like, oh, yeah, the hirings, yeah.
Hirings staff. And firings. Well, for 4, I would say the fact that, you know, with the
net neutrality.
yeah, net neutrality, that was beyond, like, I don't know why he went against that. That was not a good hill to die on. And that he should have, instead of promoting getting rid of net neutrality and with that Ajit Pai guy, he could have promoted expanding it to conservatives. And that would have been, maybe don't even word it like that. Just say, for these big content providers, like, hey, you can't discriminate against people based off of, like, your political viewpoints. I think getting rid of that really bit him, like, it really hit him in the ass, because he got rid of a lot of that stuff, a lot of those protections from there. I don't know how much that would have actually affected him, but if he would have went for expanding it, I think that would have been better. And then 5, I think he underestimated China a lot, especially earlier on. That should have been the main focus for a long time. He had his like little trade war later on, but by that point, the election was very soon, and you know what happened with that. So I think if he would have paid more attention to China and made his foreign policy about that, I think, and definitely took a more strong stand, like once he saw the Uyghur Muslim stuff start to go on, I think that would have been good for him. I honestly do. So that would be my 5 and 5.
All right. Well, actually, one thing I forgot to add is overall, because I know you kind of hit at this, I would rate Trump as not just the best president of my lifetime, but one of the best of all time. Definitely one of the best Republican ones, better than Reagan. How would you rate him in terms of presidents?
Oh, I think Reagan was terrible. I think he was terrible in a lot of ways. Like he did that Dream Act because of that, and he didn't fix the actual underlying problems. We still have that today. He had the Hughes Amendment, which basically made so only the rich can purchase fully automatic weapons in the United States. I really don't see why there's this like cult of Reagan. I think Trump's definitely the best of our lifetime, probably the only real conservative, especially cultural conservative, I can really think of, maybe since Lincoln, or not Lincoln,
Jackson.
Nixon.
Oh, Nixon, yeah.
Yeah, like he's like Nixon is probably like the last real conservative, but Trump, he's better than him, definitely. I mean, Trump actually survived at least his first impeachment. We'll see what happens with the second one. I think he'll be fine. Even then, he's already a civilian, so what the hell does it matter, anyways?
So would you say he's the best Republican president?
At least in recent times. I mean, there's definitely some things I think he fumbled. I think he's not this God emperor that a lot of people thought he was when he came into office. I think the office, maybe it changed him. Maybe some things happened. I think he was great. He's better than Reagan, but I feel that there was still a lot of stuff that I was kind of confused about, wish they did more of, and the fact they did a lot of stuff through executive order, I don't like that. I think it sets a bad precedent.
I actually like that in the sense that he actually was able to do something, but what I didn't like is it wasn't permanent, it wasn't long term. I'll just say this real quick before we go to you, Sam, is that I think he did mostly really great stuff. Not perfect, but frankly, if he was perfect, there's probably going to be something wrong with him, because most politicians, most presidents are perfectly corrupt, perfectly evil, or perfectly against what we believe in. When you think about it, I'm not making this as an excuse for anybody to interpret it this way, but the flaws in him show to me that, for better or worse, he listens to advice, he listens to all viewpoints, he's not narrow-minded, he's open-minded, and he's human. I mean, it's a hard job. I know what it's like to be in leadership positions and you do something people don't like. And there are things I think, like the bump stock thing, I get in the time why he did it. At the same time, though, it doesn't win him any votes. Did it lose him votes? I personally don't think so. And if it did, I don't think it was significant. I think it could be a handful of goofy libertarians, but I really don't think that was what people were going to vote on November 3rd with COVID everywhere and then wearing a mask. I don't think bump stocks were the thing. They were like, shit, I'm not gonna vote for Trump. I really don't believe that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what the effect really was that. But with China, I think he's done amazing with China, with the tariffs, with bringing jobs back and putting them in their place. But it's a short-term thing. Like if he had 2 terms, I think that's the other thing to consider. If he had 2 terms, really could have put a dent in China. But China was hoping Biden would win, and he did. So China's playing the long game. And if he had a more cooperative Congress, I think his presidency would have been way more historic, way more cementing. I mean, I still think it's historic. I still think he did a lot of things that have huge long-term impacts, like USMCA and pulling troops out of these countries and stabilizing things with North Korea. But if he had a cooperative Congress, could have had massive changes to immigration, massive changes to big tech. And we did have some big changes to immigration, like really big changes, but the RAISE Act still wasn't fucking passed. It was like such a basic thing, like English is the native language. More wall, all this good stuff, merit-based immigration didn't get through. So, how about you, Sam?
Well, I'm surprised no one has brought this up, but probably the number one thing that I love most about Trump is how he handled the media and just totally dealt with them, and the fact that he lifted the veil on just like how corrupt Washington really is. Like, even if you didn't like him, you have to admit that, like, even if you didn't like him, he unveiled so much shit on just how most of Washington was that like nobody likes it anymore, and you can already see the media is trying to do damage control, like, oh, now that Biden's in power, the government is working again, but people aren't buying it. So like, just the way he handled the media, just uncensored that way, is probably my number one thing. Number two thing, he fucking got rid of ISIS pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
In his first,
his first year.
Yeah, in his first year. And I know, say what you will about General Mattis, but
that guy's become a real cuck.
He has at the time he was well, hold on though. I want to say that Mattis has become maybe politically yes, but I mean Mattis is not a political guy. He's a guy that you go and basically, Mattis is a weapon. You point him in a direction and tell him to go kill, and he does that, and that's what Trump had him do. So at the time, he was the right man for the job. So I've got to give him credit for that. Third, Trump did wonders with making the healthcare companies more transparent, similar to what Alex was saying. And then number 4, the border wall, like you were saying, that was great. And then number 5 was the fact that he really reunited the conservative movement again, and really that in and of itself is a huge accomplishment. As far as things I don't like, I will admit that, well, while I like the fact that he was, unapologetic towards the media, I wish he had been a little bit more eloquent at times, and kind of dialed back it seemed like he was always in campaign mode, and, it was funny. There were some moments where I was kind of like, come on, Don, you can't turn it off 5 minutes. And then number two was the bump stocks thing, and I'm not like a huge gun guy either, Sean, but just the fact that he did it kind of annoyed me. Number three was the fact that I feel like he could have done a better job, maybe in like, like he had to have seen the January 6th, riots coming, and I feel like he let himself get blindsided by that a little more. And then, number four, as far as things I don't like, it's pretty tough. But I would have to say, like, letting Jared Kushner in the White House, and just that level of nepotism, I don't know, kind of seems shady. So, and that's all I've got for things I don't like.
With Kushner, I know this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not the biggest hater.
Him. Oh yeah, man, everything negative, that's just all Kushner.
Well, see, I that's the thing. Like, you hear some things come out where Kushner's supposed to push this and that, but like, I don't buy the idea that everything bad to come out of the White House was Kushner. Like, to me, that makes no sense. And he did do those peace deals, which helped stabilize things in the Middle East. Less involvement, less troops. Like, that shit's important. Those were historic peace deals that simmer things down. We don't have to be fucking like fighting there more. So, it's less conflict, less chance of an ISIS. I like what he did for that, but at the same time, I've heard some shady stuff with like taking campaign money. So I'm very mixed on Kushner. I'm not a hater, and I'm definitely not a lover, but he definitely is a talented guy with ability. But I don't know. I don't think he had all the same intentions Trump did.
No.
And I think a lot of the bad things really, the bad things that weren't executive orders or things he said, 9 times out of 10, it's the fall of Congress. And I think Republicans are making a big mistake when they blame Trump for not doing X, not doing Y, when all those things can only be done through Congress. You need to put the blame at Congress. And I think that's the big mistake some of these more contrarians are making, saying, oh, Trump didn't build the wall. Trump didn't crack down big tech. I'm like, what can he do about big tech? Like, what can the president do with his powers about big tech? I don't get an answer because most people don't know. I don't know. The one I do know is that he really has limited power.
Well, and then the thing of it is too, on that subject, do you really want the president doing anything with big tech? Because and I know, obviously the gut reaction is to say yes, under Trump, but then it's like that's setting a dangerous precedent then, because then the executive office can do anything with it. So
right.
Yeah, the big tech situation, like, and that is where I give the kind of the low libertarians credit. I don't like giving them credit for much, but I will admit that government intervention in big tech, it is a slippery slope. No one can deny that, and so like it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and I think too is the other thing people gotta keep in mind too with a lot of these, especially these authoritarian right people, is I tend to feel the way they do is like once you're in power, it's like use as much as you can, get as much as you can, but you need to be careful because if you do it too much and start transferring more power to the executive branch, look, we just lost. You're giving that power to the other side at some point. It's only a matter of time. This time it was only 4 years. So, you know, you gotta be really careful of that, because then the other president can do a lot more damaging things to you because of that. So it's a tricky balance. It's a hard balance, but you gotta find it. You gotta deal with it. And we gotta get more cooperative Congress. I think that's the biggest lesson coming out of this is the midterms are gonna be more critical than ever. You gotta get cooperative Congress. That's actually MAGA and actually America First. Not just tooting the horn, but they'll actually do it, because that, I think, is where we, the voters, we, the supporters, failed Trump, is we didn't go out there. We didn't get MAGA America First candidates elected in 2018 and sweep the House and actually get some of the things Paul Ryan couldn't get done. Because he's Paul Ryan. He's establishment. He's Mitt Romney's butt buddy. Like, this is where the MAGA troopers need to really reassess things. If we want to get DeSantis in, we want him to do stuff, you need to fix the Congress. I just can't emphasize that enough, because it's basic civics. They make the laws. The executive branch enforces the laws. The president can't just go, oh, I'm going to, make Facebook and Twitter public utilities. He can't do that. If he could, he probably would have, The president can't just go, well, I'm just going to, make English the native language. I'm just going to, make it a merit-based immigration system. He can't do that. Even with the wall thing, he couldn't just go on day one and be like, I'm declaring a national emergency and we're building the wall by rediverting funds. He had to go through a government shutdown, no bills, to justify doing that without getting so much shit thrown at him. And even that got dragged through the courts. And it was finally able to be done. Like, the amount of checks and balances on our system is great, but it also needs to, for people that want to do shit, need to realize there's a lot of roadblocks. The shit just doesn't get done. It just doesn't happen. That's my rant.
Yeah, I mean, look, the other big problem, and again, I hate to go back to Q, although this isn't necessarily a Q specific rant, but I feel like in general, one of the big problems we had, a big problem that we had was the overconfidence that Trump was going to win re-election, right? Like I don't want to say I don't want to be one of those people that says I told you so, but like there were people who were like, oh, Trump's got this in the bag. Like, Joe Biden, who's going to vote for Joe Biden? And granted, there was a lot of fraud, but I also definitely feel like maybe Trump supporters were a little more overconfident than they should have been. I don't know. There wasn't that same level of like, we've got to win this, like there was in 2016. Like in 2016, like people were determined to vote for Trump. Like people were getting out there, like you could feel like the energy, like almost like a desperate energy, but like in a good way. And yeah, there were the MAGA rallies, but I didn't feel like we had the win at all costs attitude like we did back in 16, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. There was some complacency, and I still don't think that's why we lost, but we need to be careful of that, because that's how you can lose. I don't think Phil's here anymore, but we'll have his 2 cents next time. And I guess we'll stay on, because I can't talk off air about with Phil if he's not here. But, is there anything else you guys want to talk about or do?
Well, if you guys want to, you guys don't have to stay on the Versus stream, but I certainly have some topics I want to, bring up. Just namely, first off, for the Whitfield report, Biden is president, and it sucks. Did you watch the inauguration?
Nope.
Me either.
I just saw the one part where that little girl's giving like saying this poem. It was some like wishy-washy shit.
The only thing I saw were the birth, and I didn't even see it live until like it became a thing. But I started seeing Bernie memes. I started seeing like the Bernie sitting in the chair memes, and I'm like, what is this? And so I had to go back and look at that. Um,
Yeah, those were funny.
and yeah, I mean, honestly, like Biden's already, screwing up big time, like basically moving like the armed forces like off already, but he's still keeping them there too. And what's that all about? Like that gives me a bad feeling that they're still there.
Yeah, there's gonna be thousands. We were talking about this. There's supposed to be gonna be thousands of troops still in DC till mid-March.
Yeah, that's something doesn't smell right.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really weird, honestly. And Phil was saying this comes right down to the mayor of DC who makes these decisions.
well, also, I mean, DC wants to apply for basically like statehood, which in my opinion is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna push for that. I think they're gonna try. I don't know how much traction it'll gain, but they're gonna try to make DC or Puerto Rico stay. Probably Puerto Rico is what they'll push for first. And American Samoa. I could see them doing that. Um, but was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Alex? Because I know you were posting stuff in the news channel.
Let me go and take a look. What did we got over there? Former ADT employees admits he watched customers have sex for years through their cameras. So that's a little bit awkward.
Lovely.
I I feel like I've seen that story before though. Like I feel like every few years there's always like a story like that, like some pervy security, you know, person watches people having sex.
Yeah, this is for like ADT home security systems, so that's a little bit awkward. The new. Do we talk about the two mask new standard that they're making because of our little gay boy failed presidential candidate decided to go and wear two masks, and now people want that to be the new thing.
Oh, is that because of
You
Booty
read,
Judge?
Oh,
yeah, booty touch.
oh fuck no. It's hard enough to breathe with one of those things on. And I'm sorry, I know Jeff the liberal will say it's not that tough, but trust me, it is.
For
Um,
me, like the first, I'd say like, well, when we started, it's like March, April, May. I was like the first few months, my guys grow up. This isn't a big deal. Like, I mean, Jesus, of all the hills conservatives are dying on, it's wearing a mask. At this point, what, a year later, now it's starting to annoy me, and I'm like, yeah, this
yeah.
is gay shit.
Oh, and it was like in the same article I saw another one, a link to another article that says, "Is mask slipping the new man spreading?"
Dude, I
So that
see on women, they slip their
If
mask all the time.
if that's the case, then guilty. I'm guilty as fuck of it. Like I like if I'm like in a super crowded area, like yeah, I'll wear it then. But if I'm in my neighborhood, I don't even wear one. Um, so like uh
Yeah,
yeah,
and the
it's
other thing too about the double masks, I'm seeing Booty Judge is wearing it could be an N95, but he's wearing a surgical or N95 and a cloth over. If you're wearing an N95, you don't need a freaking cloth mask over it. Like, that's just some like elitist virtue signaling right there. It's like, oh, yeah.
At that point, why don't you just wear like an actual gas mask? Because it's gonna be more. It's probably more effective than these, consumer quality masks, and you don't have to worry about like doubling or tripling up your masks because it has fucking filters.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at me with my 2 masks. I can afford more masks than you. It's just so stupid. And look, like, I hate when people say like, well, why don't you just wear a mask? They clearly work. It's like, look, dude, the N95s work. Totally agree with you. But most people aren't wearing those. Most people are wearing cloth masks, which are the worst. The surgical ones, I think, are like decent. And there's a lot of people wearing those, but I question how effective they really are if you don't have COVID. Because that's what we were first told. And obviously, we learn a lot more. But I think that still holds mostly true, that the masks are really effective with stopping the spread if you have it. If you don't have it, does wearing it help? Kind of. But like, if somebody sneezes and it goes in your eyes, you're infected. Okay?
Yeah. See, you should just be wearing gas masks, like, honestly.
Yes.
That'll prevent your eyes, that'll prevent your ears, that'll prevent your mouth, your nose. Like, it seems like if you're gonna be wearing any masks, gas mask is probably the one to wear.
Yes, wear a gas mask.
Hey, Sonny, welcome to the, chat. And also, hello, Alan, and hello, so we are finally getting some people in here, and sorry about my meltdown earlier. Like I said, though, YouTube is being a bit of a C word this evening.
Oh, speaking of YouTube in our chat, Radio Freedom says, where is the cue balls ever moving goalpost at right now? Bruh, it's in Crazyville. We were talking about it a bit earlier where they were thinking that it's freaking Face Off, where Biden's not the real president, it's actually Trump, and the inauguration was fake, the executive orders were all fake, and trust the plan. He also says COVID didn't kill the economy, the Democrats did. Yeah, pretty much. That's true.
Yeah, Sonny, you missed kind of the beginning of the broadcast because we were talking about like all of these different people involved with Q who still think Trump is like somehow president, either through the whole like he's secretly like wearing a body, like a Biden body suit and mask, or like I heard some Q person say that he's running the government from Florida, and just all this stuff. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Also, Sean, do you have an announcement that you want to make regarding a certain thing that you got?
Was this something I told you before? Oh, I know what you're thinking of. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sam is a lucky boy because he is going to be receiving a little delayed initially Christmas present, but now slightly delayed birthday present of a fabulous t-shirt that will attract ladies from all across campus. And he will be opening it live. He will be trying it on live, and you will all see it on him, and you will all love it and adore it. So you'll see Shirtless Sam. Ladies, get ready. You'll see Shirtless Sam for a few minutes, and then you'll see him in his new t-shirt. So stay tuned for when that arrives. It'll probably be coming in this coming week, so buckle up, buckaroos.
And also, in terms of announcements, real quick, Sean, I don't even know if you know this, but my 15 holy crap. And yeah, I'm coming up on the big 1-5, I think. On March 25th, so we still have a ways off, but not too much. I will be celebrating 15 years of podcasting.
Nice.
I think still relatively technically I've only had the technically I've only had this YouTube channel for like 2 years, but if I'm including my entire podcasting career, it's been 15. So hopefully about 5 more years if I'm still on YouTube. If Mommy Susan hasn't kicked me off before then, I'll be monetized.
Yeah, you go. I hope you do get monetized. I know we're far away from that, and it's a tough one to get, especially now. You get hardly anything like you used to.
Yeah. Oh, another story. I think I posted this in Versa in the news section, but basically the Fire Gina Carano hashtag is trending again.
Yep. Well, apparently, and I'm not sure. Like the intent of it is sounds to be a little all over the place, but she was recently pulled from a poster or something they had where they swapped her out with Ahsoka. They claim it's because it's a new popular character, but some people speculate that's not really the intent.
Well, so there are a few things that are going on from what I heard. Part of it has to do with the fact that there's this new series coming out on Disney Plus called Star Wars: The High Republic, which is essentially, as near as everyone can tell, is just like it's supposed to be set like before the it's supposed to be set like 200 years before like A New Hope, so before the prequel trilogy and all that. But
And before the Old Republic, I think.
it's nah, it's like a bit after the Old Republic era, but like before the prequel
Yeah,
era.
I think
So
that's
like,
actually it.
but basically every single reviewer I've basically like every comic guy I follow basically says it's basically like peak SJW in Star Wars
Yeah.
to the point where like it makes the sequel trilogy look based,
Yeah.
which is a joke. So, um, so there were some critics that were basically like tweeting out criticizing the High Republic book that has just come out for being too, SJW. And so Disney sent out this tweet saying that like it's wrong that people are harassing, this author, and
Mm-hmm.
Lucasfilm stands for diversity and inclusion. So in fact, let me pull up my tweet from earlier because I think you guys we talked about this on one of your shows from a while back.
And also, Pozo was getting in this beef. I was posting some articles. I forget what specifically. I think it was about some of the black supremacist stuff this person said, and anti-white stuff. And Pozo was getting into like a
Oh
beef
yeah,
all the
yeah.
Star Wars fans.
Okay, so let me see.
Yeah, the tweet was our
Okay.
Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We do not stand for the bullying and racism. We support at Christina Aurelia or Ariella. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the one who I guess has written the book and who has also written this entire new Republic series. So then I went on Twitter, and I quote tweeted that this morning, and I said, so please explain how erasing John Boyega from Chinese marketing is okay. Letting the cancel culture mob go after at Gina Carano, and keeping Pablo Hidalgo on board after he publicly mocked Star Wars Theory on Twitter for having an emotional reaction to Luke Skywalker. How is any of this inclusive? So yeah, that's my take. And I guess they also forgot James Earl Jones's birthday. He celebrated a birthday recently, and Lucasfilm said nothing about that. So yeah, they're really inclusive.
Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous. And they were, that Pablo guy is a real jerk on Twitter, and it's extremely hypocritical. So, you know what? You guys are gonna get the hate you deserve for this High Republic comic, shit show, and then the show that adopts it too. I mean, they're gonna get a lot of hate for it. It's apparently, like you said, worse than the sequels.
The Mandalorian is really the only thing keeping uh like Star Wars relevant right now. And I mean, I hate to say it as a lifelong Star Wars fan, but like a lot of people, I'm starting to lose interest in the franchise outside of Mandalorian.
Oh, absolutely. Same with me.
It's just sad.
We gotta get Alex to watch that Rise of Skywalker together.
No, well, if we do, we all need to do it drunk, or we
Well,
need to like.
you know how Sean is.
Yeah, I
Well,
can't participate in that.
Okay, okay. Well, can we get you high or some? Because
That's a story for another day.
No,
because
I've never been high if anybody asks.
because Sean, like forcing you to watch like The Rise of Skywalker sober, that just seems like you're my friend, and I don't want to be cruel to you.
And put me under that
So
torture.
I I wouldn't I wouldn't even make Apex watch that sober.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I have the Disney Plus one of these nights. Alex and I, we got to do a Discord stream and subject ourselves to that monstrosity.
Well, count me in. I'm all for that.
Oh, you can hop in too, and you'll have a kind of the same experience I will with Last Jedi, which is like you think it's bad the first time, and then you watch it again, and you find more things wrong with it, and you realize it's even worse. Like there's just like this one stupid thing. Like, this isn't a spoiler, but it does this one really stupid thing where they get this knife and it matches up with a particular thing, like the pattern of something that's been destroyed, and there's like wreckage of it. It's the most preposterous thing. Like preposterous. And it's made the cut into this movie.
Eee.
Sam's still alive?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. I'm letting
Um,
you run things now since the Whitfield report's on.
yeah, I mean, so basically, I mean, where do you think we my question is for you though, Sean, where do we go from here as far as the Republican Party, as far as the culture war? Where do you see us going from here? Because like I've been trying to think about that. I've been kind of looking at my show notes on my phone, and here it is like almost 1 in the morning, and I'm still like I try and be the optimistic guy, but honestly I am kind of coming up with blanks other than to just laugh my ass off at everything that happens for the next 4 years.
Well, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I think it's a good way that'll close out our stream too, to go full circle, is that the future is more Trump, more nationalism, more populism, more Trumpism. I think we got what we wanted in 2016. Trump mostly delivered, given all the circumstances. Like, I was even just reading through the border wall Wikipedia page, and the amount of times he got stopped and blocked from the day he stepped into office and signed the executive order to build the wall till now, with almost 500 miles of wall. It's remarkable he got as much done as he did, like trying to go around them in every way possible. But people love what they got and they want more. They're hungry for more populism, and the future is more nationalism, more populism. Like, it's gonna go up. People want more of it, probably even some more extreme forms of it, especially after the 4 years we're gonna experience now. So really, and I've said this a million times, I'm gonna keep saying it till it actually happens, you gotta fix the Congress. You gotta primary the rhinos with America First, MAGA populist candidates. Gotta get them out. That is the most important thing we need to do now, is in those midterms, is get these people out. I know Raheem Kassam at National Pulse with Steve Bannon is working on something that we've talked about, which is making a list of all of these establishment rhinos, naming them, shaming them, exposing them to get them out. And that's what we need to do. Like, Mitch McConnell needs to get primaried. That guy's a traitor. He's a big, massive traitor to the party, and he needs to be removed. He's a disgrace. We need to be more aggressive. We need to organize better. We need to be smarter. I'm going to be doing stuff on my own with the help of friends and working with other people. Like, I'm going to be working on this Uncensored America organization that hopefully, when it's all said and done, has speaking events with when COVID's gone, and exciting events that are free speech, that are bringing back the voices that we want to hear, that people want to hear, and bring back sort of that populist culture war on colleges. I'm doing something. I hope everybody else is going to be doing something. I know it's going to be scary times because we're going to be purged. We're going to be censored. We're going to be, what's the fucking term? Persecuted like never before. But I understand a lot of people are going to have to keep their heads low, but you can still share shit. You can still email stuff, post stuff on Facebook, Twitter, share with your friends. You need to keep them informed because it's an information warfare. I mean, it's not, physical warfare is stupid, okay? It's to think that we're going to be heading towards a civil war. Anything physical is a fantasy. You need to get out of it and focus on the information warfare. That thing at the Capitol, yeah, it accelerated the information warfare. And maybe there is a time and a place for physical confrontations, but, like, let's be real. You know, getting involved in that stuff's going to get you killed or locked up or poor for life and bankrupt. So
yeah,
focus on the information warfare to get rid of the cucks, pretty much. Purge the cucks with information warfare. That's my message. And everybody can do it. There's no excuse you can't do it. So we got to get up. We're strong. We can do this. And just soldier forward. And use alternatives.
Sounds good. And also, look, I know that, people are saying that Gab is the go-to place right now. But also, I would highly encourage people to check out Minds as well. I just verified my channel over there.
Yeah, get on everything. Get on Telegram, get on Signal, get on Gab, get on Minds, whatever's out there, get on it, get familiar with it, build your audiences if you're a public figure. And, if you're just an ordinary Joe, like, one of the best ways you can help is campaigning. A MAGA, America First candidate locally or at your state level, go door knocking for them. Like, get out the vote. You gotta do stuff. I love what Scott Presler says, which is stop talking, start doing. And that's the attitude we need to have, because that's what we did in 2016, and we overcome the most immense odds, I think, in any campaign ever. I was when we won in 16, the day after. I really wasn't that shocked. I mean, it was surreal. I was loving it, but I thought it was going to happen. Looking back, seeing all the barriers we have, I'm more amazed today that we won up against all that.
Yep, I am too. And real quick in the chat, to Warfist 1984 who says I'm late as fuck. Don't worry, Warfist, you're really not that late because I started late because YouTube decided to keep me from going live at 10 like I was supposed to. Uh, but I also guess the fights are on tonight, so that's why Apex didn't show up because he's watching the stream or he's watching the McGregor fights. I don't know.
Not to change the subject, because if you want to add some of this, you can. But one other thing I was gonna mention is that Larry King passed away today, or technically yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's actually in my show notes too. Um, well, I mean, it's what else can you say? Like him or hate him, he was an icon, and he this is going to sound terrible, but he's actually younger than I thought he was. Uh, he was 87. I thought he was like in his 90s for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. I was just checking the thing. I know I'm changing subjects again, but when Trump did his farewell speech, he not only was playing his typical like Trump rally music, but I forget which song he played when he was coming on the stage. But when he was flying away, he had blasting on the speakers "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Fucking amazing.
I like My Way is one of those songs that like gets me emotional anyway, just because it's like one of those songs that does. Like it's the one it's the one guy song for guys that like will make like, the manliest man feel emotions, right? And then, just like I saw like kind of a commercial or like a video that someone put together of basically like a montage of Trump's 4 years in office
Yeah, I've seen that.
with My Way.
Yep.
And I have to admit, I may or may not have choked up. I might not have because I'm a tough guy.
Yeah, it
But
hits the feels.
Even tough guys have to have feels sometimes. So.
Oh no, I thought that video. I remember watching that during the campaign. It was like a great reminder as to why I love the guy, why I love the movement, why I love the ideas, and why I love what we're doing and why I'm doing what I've been doing, and it's awesome. And he also played that song during his inaugural ball with Melania when they were dancing. That was the song he picked. Fucking perfect. Yeah. And I've always liked that song, but I've grown to really love it. It's a beautiful song. Definitely Frank's one of his best.
And Frank was friends with Reagan too.
I saw something when I was Googling this, but I don't know if it's true. Apparently Frank Sinatra hated Trump.
I've heard that, but then like I've also heard in recent years like Hugh Hefner supposedly hated Trump, even though there are like literal photos of like Trump at the Playboy Mansion, and, like them shaking hands and being like all buddy buddy. So
yeah,
like I don't know because like they're all these celebrities who are like, well, I hate Trump, and it's like you go back 20 years and you can find a photo of him at like some dinner party or something, and they're they're chumming, they're like clearly friends or something. So I mean, and Trump is another perfect example of you find out who your real friends are pretty fast, right? Because like before Trump entered politics, like when he back when he was just a celebrity, like everybody loved the guy, right? Like, yeah, he was a little goofy, but like no one, like, just the whole Trump derangement syndrome wasn't a thing back then.
Well, and I just researched this a bit, and it comes from Nancy Sinatra, Frank's daughter. She does hate Trump publicly, and she claims her father did too. So that's where the claim's coming from.
Yeah, well, same with Cooper Hefner and his father. It's like, it's like unless it comes from, the person themselves, I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's wonky shit. But yeah, so that's where I think the movement is, though, and I think it's only going to get bigger, more ferocious, and more powerful, and more aggressive. I mean, ferocious in like a positive way. I mean, it's going to just get more feisty, and people are going to be more eager to fight, because once you have something, and when you lose it for a bit, it's like you get more amped up to fight. And I'll be honest, 2024 is going to be a weird election. Kind of like how the Democrats really didn't know who they were going to put up for 2020. I think we're going to end up in that same boat, because Nikki Haley's going to run, and she's terrible. She's not going to win. She's never going to become president. She's going to be the new Jeb Bush. Will Trump himself run? I think it's still up in the air. Will a DeSantis run? Maybe. But I think if a candidate's really smart, I think they need to wait till 2028, personally, I think. Could be wrong, but I think 2028 is when the pendulum's going to swing back completely.
Well, and like that's the other question too, is like you know like I know we say this every time a Democrat gets into office, but like I've had listeners, and some people in this chat DM me, with like concerns that we're not gonna have anything left by the time 2024 is around. And look, I like to try and be optimistic and say that, yeah, of course there will be something left. Of course, maybe we can win in 2024. But you know like I said in your chat, like it's only the first week, and it's already the first week of Biden's administration, and it's already been a shit week, and we're already
that
going
happens
downhill.
with every president, because on their first 100 days, they try to do as many things as possible. Like, that's pretty typical. I mean, what's disappointing, of course, is he's reversing some big things, like he's stopping the wall from going any further. But I do agree with you in some ways, because Alex Jones went off on a rant the other day that's been going viral, where he's like, "It's over, folks. It's gone. They're taking your bank accounts. They're gonna shut down your power. They're taking everything." And I think what's gonna happen is, you're right. There's not gonna be much left. They're gonna take a lot. They're not just gonna take the bank account away from Donald Trump and all these public figures. They're gonna take away from average Joes, and I think it's gonna hit such a low, and they're gonna go very power hungry, and they're gonna go so far over the next 4 to 8 years that probably in 8 years, unless it really accelerates, and it's 4 years, because a lot can change. Like, keep that in mind, a lot can change, but it's gonna hit that time in 4 or 8 years where people are gonna want, I don't want to say a fascist, but like a really authoritarian right winger, a real authoritarian nationalist populist on the right. And it's going to make Trump look like a baby in terms of like how aggressive they are. And it's like Bolsonaro in Brazil. Brazil went through like years of left wing politicians, and then boom, they elect a super authoritarian, in my opinion, too extreme right winger. But in America, few years, think Bolsonaro might not look so extreme.
And see that is the one concern I do have is like they keep pushing and Gavin McInnes has brought this up before. And yes, Carl from Game of Secret Kings, I know you're watching, you communist faggot. But yeah, we have one communist who loves to harass me. He never pops up in chat, but I know you're watching, Carl. At some point, the right is going to get so fed up that like people are eventually going to say, and I don't think it's going to be in my generation or our generation, Sean, but I think the next generation is going to get so sick of the you're a Nazi, you're a you're a bigot, you're a whatever, that they'll just say, okay, fuck it, we are. Like you may, and you're already starting to see that with like some of the more extreme. I don't want to say extreme, but like people like Nick Fuentes. Like Nick Fuentes, he has moderated a bit, as he's gotten older. But like, think of it like there are gonna be kids out there that make him look, normal by comparison.
Yeah, I that's actually interesting because while I think mainstream appeal of people going like fuck it, yeah, I guess I am X, Y, and Z awful things, I don't think that'll happen. But what I do think will happen is, like you said, people can make, and I'm feeling it. Like I follow Nick a lot closer now, and he's grown on me. I think people are gonna look at him and be like, yeah, that's not extreme, that's not radical, and it's already happening. But I think you're going to see other people pop up that people are going to think are extreme, and they're not, they are actually going to be extreme, and Nick will be the moderate. But I think this populism wave is just, it's going to go in an interesting direction because it's getting so divisive. Like, there's no unity, there's no healing, there's no coming back together, not anytime soon. So I think we are going to enter a very interesting phase. And moderates always do win, but I think you might get an election where you have an AOC who is definitely going to run one of these days. Definitely. And has a good chance of winning. Will run against somebody that's more extreme on the right. And you'll have an election with maybe low participation, but enough turnout that one of these people is going to win. May not be what most of the country actually wants, but one of them will win. And you could have an AOC versus Matt Gaetz, AOC versus DeSantis, AOC versus somebody we don't know that's actually extreme. So it'll be interesting.
No, AOC is definitely not going to go away.
No, she's only going to grow. She is one of their best, I guess you could say, communicators. She's one of their best weapons that they hate. Like the establishment hates her, but she's effective. She knows how to play the game. She knows how to play the culture war. She knows how to get into the information warfare.
Well, and as much as I hate to say it, like Biden is actually pretty moderate, as far as Democrats go comparatively.
I think him consciously, yes. It'll just be interesting to see how people manipulate him to do more radical things.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the great thing about having a that's the great thing about having a guy with partial dementia and maybe early on to Alzheimer's in the White House is, he's basically a sock puppet at this point. A very powerful sock puppet, but a sock puppet nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We might have another Tea Party sweep this midterm in 2022. Because the Tea Party sweep, that was one of the biggest, gains in midterm history, was with the Tea Party. Way bigger than that blue wave we saw in 18.
Oh yeah. No, I mean when the Tea Party wave happened, let me see. I was only like like this show was still relatively new when the Tea Party happened, and it was like, you want to talk about the glory days? Like for me, that was kind of wave one of my glory days, so to speak. Wave two was in 2016 and 2017. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Tea Party wave of 2011 when Andrew Breitbart was around,
Mm-hmm.
those were the fucking rock star days.
I remember too, because the first president I really remember was Obama. I remember watching his inauguration in, I think, 5th grade. And I remember the Tea Party movement. I remember the Obama posters where they made him look like the Joker. And I remember Sarah Palin. I remember all that shit. And I remember thinking, you know what? Because I always was like, said, oh, I'm an independent. And it's like, oh, yeah, it sounds pretty gay now. But I was like, yeah, I'm an independent. Both parties suck, man. But it's true. I mean, like, even today, I still really believe both parties, the establishment, suck. And I remember seeing the Tea Party people. I'm like, you know what? I like that. Those people I agree with. Like, these are the people. I love this shit. Like, I'm seeing their signs. Illegals go home. Feds, do your job. No more illegals. And that was one of the big things I latched onto, was illegal immigration, because I thought it was the dumbest thing that we were doing as a country. So the Tea Party was like the prologue to Trump. Yeah, there were things before, like Ross Perot and Pat Buchanan, but the Tea Party was like the first major prologue. And Trump spoke at Tea Party events. Like he knew what was going on, and that was the real prologue to him. And Trump is just chapter one. Like, this is the populism wave finally starting up, and I love it. I love populism. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. No, I just honestly, what I like I said, I love the fact that Trump just loves to fuck with the media
Me
and
too.
whatnot, because at the end of the day, like, I've 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 got to tell you guys a secret. Okay, it's my deep dark secret that people have kind of heard before, but um my secret is I'm not really a political guy. I'm not. I'm more of like a pop culture guy. I'm more of a nerd who, you know, I used to just like to joke around with my friends and tell jokes and make politically incorrect, jokes and talk about, you know, uh, boobs and chicks and all the stuff that you do when you're in middle school and high school. And then as soon as like and I mean, my friends and I would also like rag on each other all the time. Like, we'd call each other faggot and like, gay and, you know, retarded. And like, my friends would always give me a hard time for, they'd call me a cripple. And like, I would even roast myself sometimes. And, like just harmless stuff. But as soon as like I've noticed it started to get like really bad when I was like in 8th grade, like right as Obama was starting to run with like the whole, oh, you can't say that anymore. Like, when they started coming after like jokes and just like, just like middle school kids being like normal, I was like, okay, what is up? Like, I didn't do anything, right? And so I started to like look into more of like why people were acting so weird and I started to kind of discover what cultural Marxism was, and that was what happening. What I mean, political correctness is cultural Marxism, and it does, happen. And that was kind of when I started to wake up and realize, okay, this is not just political anymore. This is also coming into the culture, and I need to do something about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I fucking did. And
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, now that I'm in it, I kind of enjoy politics somewhat, but at the end of the day, I still hate politics. Um, you know, but that's where we are now. Like now the culture war is basically like indistinguishable from politics now
Mm-hmm.
too. And I mean, you being a few years younger than me, I mean, it's even more prominent for you than it is for me, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like culture and politics are intertwined now and fused. And not too long ago, there was a separation. I mean, there was definitely political influence in culture, like without a doubt. There always has been, but it's like the line has just been erased completely, and it's only getting worse. And I mean, I felt the same way too when I was younger. When I was, hearing that people couldn't tell certain jokes or things were offensive, you can't say that. I mean, that sort of shit always bothered me. Like saying you can't say something always bothers me. It's wrong. It's anti-American. It's against the First Amendment. I mean, go on and on. And I was reading some stuff Milo was posting in his Telegram chat. And one of the things I agreed yet disagreed with him on was he was saying like, "Oh, I get all these people from tours that I did still talking about free speech," and he was saying like that's a 10-year-old issue. Like we've all moved on. Like why are you still talking about this? And I get him on that because yes, it kind of is, but I look, I was a college student for like not too long ago, and to me, free speech is still an extremely relevant issue because it's kind of worse. And people think we lost that battle. I don't really buy that. I don't think the battle's really over. I think we won the 16 battle. But I think the new battles with tech censorship, with this more authoritarian sort of censorship, like with the My Pillow guy, with private companies
Well,
being authoritarians and anti-free speech. And on the campuses, it's still rampant because there's still a lot of things you're told you can't do. A lot of things get shut down. Like, yeah, the spark is gone from all that stuff, but it's still a big thing. And I know, I mean, students still hate it, and they really are upset about it. Like, I feel for them. I think that grievance is still really relevant. It still really needs to be heard.
well, the thing that's a big problem now is the fact that like now people are going back and in like getting people in trouble for shit that you said 10 years ago,
Yeah, cancel culture.
and yeah, and I mean, yeah, we bitch about cancel culture a lot here on this show, but it really is a problem because I mean, I'll admit I have said some pretty stupid shit in the past, and I still do on occasion, but like especially when I was 15 and I started this show, like I will fully admit that, you know, there's like I'm sure even now when I turn, 30 like 5 years from now, I'm sure there's stuff that I'll say, I'll look back on and be like, how, what was I thinking at 25? I was so naive. Like people change over time and they grow. Um, and just because you said something when you were like 15 or even in your 20s doesn't mean you should be canceled at like 30 or 40. Um, you
Yeah,
know.
and I think the free speech battle has evolved from political correctness and trigger warnings to cancel culture and big tech censorship. Were you saying something, Alex?
Hey man, I'm gonna need to go.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the stream in a second.
Y'all.
Yep, see you, man. But yeah, last thing I'll say too, Sam, is that I think to tap onto all that shoot, I had a thought, now it's slipping my mind. That's when you know it's getting late.
Yeah.
But
we'll wrap up here in a bit too. We've been going for a little over 2 hours, so that's pretty good.
But I think that we need to reignite the culture on the campuses and get back in the fight again, which I've been trying to do, and I have been doing for quite a few years. I mean, all the time I was on campus, really. But we need that 16 energy again. Oh, I know, I was going to remember. Gamergate. I don't know how much you know about that or were involved with that, but that was something I kind of heard about. I was a little on the young side then. That was before I was really into internet culture, and that's something, looking back on it, that was really, really big.
Well, I remember when Gamergate happened, like, I was kind of done with, like, I still game, but, like, at that point, the podcast had really kind of taken over. So, like...
Yeah, that's kind of why I wasn't involved with it either, was that I'd kind of tuned out of the gaming community. That's when I'd gotten busy and I really wasn't involved with that stuff as much. But that was something that was like the first real win against the SJWs in the culture war.
I was more involved with like Comicsgate, which technically is still going on.
Yep.
And I mean, Comicsgate has really evolved more into like culture gate with the whole, again, going back to, Gina Carano, getting canceled. Like, that's just the latest thing. And you know what? Like that's one thing I will say. Like, I'm glad that the nerds are finally starting to stand up to the SJWs. Like good on the nerds, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's kind of where I come from. Is like that's what's so weird about Gamergate. It's like that was something, if I was still a gamer at the time, because I'm now a born again gamer, I would totally be into that shit. That'd be like my Bible. That would be everything. That would just, I mean, it'd be like the perfect storm for me to be in. And it's a lot of it's like, I don't really fit into a lot of these groups, but like a lot of these people are my type of people. Like these sort of like nerdy people, but we're like cool nerds. We're into games, we're into movies, we're into politics, we're into all kinds of philosophy and books and Star Wars and things that, a lot of people kind of like, but not to the level we do, sort of thing.
No, and I mean, that's the other thing, is now they're starting to come for the, the comic book reviewers on YouTube as well. Like,
oh shit.
Like Dave Cullen from Computing Forever. Like, he used to be a nerd. He used to be like a tech guy exclusively, and then he went into politics, and they took his YouTube channel down completely. They're trying to go after Nerdotic, and he's actually like a pretty popular like comics shop owner in California.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I wouldn't. It'd be interesting to see if we have another Gamergate type thing come up, because that exposed a lot of the what we now call the fake news media. There were game developers sleeping with game journalists to get better reviews. There were a lot of fake reviews. Also, I think it was called Depression Quest. Yeah, Depression Quest from Zoe Quinn, getting these like outstanding reviews for like a shit game. And then all these people that were exposing this were getting called sexist and racist and transphobes and whatever phobes they come up with at the time, for exposing all this. And these were the game developers calling that, the game critics, the journalists, game journalists, and it was pretty bad. And there were, I know, a lot of threats made, a lot of bomb threats. It was pretty crazy, but it was like the first like major like curtain being pulled open of the media, of the video game, like, yeah, the fake news media in general.
Yeah. Well, there's a new term that's coming about called that I like personally called the fandom menace. Not the
Yes.
not not the Phantom Menace, but the fandom menace. Because like in terms of Hollywood, like you know, we're getting sick of all of this politically correct stuff invading our fan culture. And like I will admit, like I don't want to out people here, but I definitely know that like I'm pretty sure that John Favreau has voted conservative a few times. And you know, Dave Filoni kind of looks like a hippie, but looks can be deceiving.
Mm.
And they gave us Luke Skywalker in the form that like we all wanted. He gave us like our hero back, essentially. Like that's why, instead of like cucked, soy boy Luke, they gave us actual Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, which is all people wanted. Um, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you get more creators like that, and we'll eventually win this thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think Favreau has participated in anti-Trump stuff, so I don't know how he really aligns, but I don't think he's radical in any way.
no.
I don't think he's an SJW. Let me put it that way.
Well, and look, here's the other thing. Like, I don't mind if you're a liberal. I've said that too. Like, I don't mind liberals. I don't mind Democrats per se. What I hate are leftists and SJWs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't I don't I don't want to necessarily sound like Dave Rubin because,
The
he's kind of
regressive
fucked,
left.
but I wish that there were more Dave Rubins out there that weren't as like square, that like kind of like Tim Pool is an example of it. Like I know people call him a fence sitter, but like if there were more liberals who were like open to having conversations and like having actual dialogues, we wouldn't be in the mess we are today, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
I agree, because it really is a problem from one side. Like,
Yeah.
it is. Like, if anybody's gonna be honest, that's how you gotta look at it. But I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you, Sam, as always, for
Yeah.
hopping in.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for sticking on with my stream. And we still did a 2-hour show despite the technical difficulties. So I'm gonna try and figure out what's going on with YouTube so that we can start at 10 p.m. like we're supposed to next week. But in the meantime, Sean, you know, you we both have about 1 million channels right now because of the whole thing. So where do people follow you at?
On YouTube, you look up Versa Media. That's where we are. Twitter at Versa News Media. Gab, I think it's at Versa or at Versa Media, but you'll figure it out when you see the Eye of Horus with the red background, like on our YouTube channel. Links are all in our description. I believe Sam's are automatically put in there as well, so y'all can check that out. And of course, if you haven't yet, sub Sam.
Also at Sean Smanko on Minds as well,
and Gab and Twitter.
Yep, and at Sean Smanko, yep, on Gab, and at Sam Whitfield on both Minds and Gab, and also I'm verified as well on those two platforms.
I think I have enough of those tokens to get verified on mine, so I think I'll do that, and I'll give Gab some support money to do it.
It's worth it just because, like, I actually have, like, one of the problems I ran into during the whole war with that dude's clan or whatever, Owen's clan, was they actually did make fake accounts of me, and like,
oh shit,
try and so that's and that's kind of when I learned, oh, that's why verification exists.
Yep, that's right.
And that's why Twitter's model is so, it's shit, because like even smaller accounts get, parodied and mocked and whatnot. So verification should be legit.
Right.
But
I recommend it too, and my personal account they just threw out there, like, that's where I give all my personal opinions for anybody that's interested, or keep people up to date on any personal projects I'm doing. I use it more because the Versa thing I try to keep more just for the channel and telling people we're streaming. So if you want to follow everything, you can. Well, just follow one or the other, whatever you guys want to do. But there will be some big announcements related to me if COVID is gone by the fall and things are resuming to normal on campuses. There's going to be some action on some particularly big campuses. So if you want to stay tuned for that, please follow me.
Sounds good. Well, folks, from all of us here at NGC Studios, have a good night. God bless. God save this great nation. God, freedom, legacy in that order. And hang in there, folks.
Wash your hands.
We only have good God. We only have 3 more years until 2024.
We can make it.
Yeah, we can make it. One day at a time, folks. One day at a time.
Peace.
All right. We're